going to find out that jumping on is a lot easier than jumping off.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know. The air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad.
I don't go for your normal mustache. I go for a full-blown dick broom. That's how I grow it out. This covers the whole mouth, straight across, dude. Fucking the walrus, just going full-blown dick broom. All right, you guys ready to kick this off?
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazingly hard to smoke a cigarette in the stratosphere these days. You
Why
had to
is
go
that?
like downstairs and fucking all the way like out of the comedy club.
Oh yeah, you can't smoke upstairs on that.
That whole level, like it was like crazy.
You can sneak it. Well, we smoked that one time
That's
upstairs.
like when I was like, I smoked a joint up here on that back level outside the other theater.
Oh yeah.
You know, but like they're like you had to go down the escalator. I was like, fuck.
To smoke the joint.
No, I smoked a cigarette last night.
And it's funny is I liked we were outside smoking one time. It was like me, Skills, Bobby. I can't remember, a handful of guys. And security walks up and they're like, "Hey, dude." We're like, "Yeah," and they're like, "That smells good." And that was it. We're like, "Oh, times have changed over here." Well, guys, let's kick this bad boy off and make it official. Since it's with this little testy dealie, we're 2 minutes into recording, which will be chopped off. But I just want to say welcome, everybody. Here we are again with another episode of the ThinkStopper. I think this is episode 6. I don't know. I usually keep track when I'm in the computer, but I just want to say thank you very much, everybody. A lot of support out there. I'm your host, Trez Mala. We got Mikey Slyman back.
Yo,
back from Japan.
I'm back.
Which I can't wait to hear about. That's going to be a fun one. And then we got a nice little crew over here today. I'm just going to go down the line in no official particular order, but we have Robert Acevedo with us over here.
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening?
Bronx.
From the boogie down.
That's
over
obligatory.
There. He's like, let's bring in.
Is it the South Bronx or just the Bronx?
Yeah, it's South Bronx.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
The South Bronx. See, Slyman knows. Like, that's with the hat. He's got the hat on. He's like, I know.
And you have to with the Kangol.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get into official particulars here, but then we have Darrin Chase visiting us.
What's up?
He's stopping in. He's making his he's making his little cameo over here. We're gonna get into some stuff. Actually, I invited him on for today. I want to get into other stuff with Darrin about a little bit more on the conspiracy side, which I guess we'll dabble into on today. But just a little bit about being a comic and also working movies and stuff like that, and then also dealing with some dramas.
That's when I met you last night, briefly, right, at the LA Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And then, like, sat next to you for most of the show. Didn't know you were going to be here today. And then the next show, Tom comes in and sat for the 10 o'clock show. It's pretty funny. So both these guys, I sat with them last night.
Nice. And then also we have the original slated guest over here, Tom Baum, everybody.
Yee.
Mr. Funnyman over here.
Bay Area.
Yeah, and this was one of the things, and it didn't really go according to plan. And this is one of the things that we want to do. I want to do. I don't know about you guys, but we want to take some acid and do this. That was the original plan.
I thought that's what we were doing.
Too late for Tom.
As I say, yeah.
Too late. He pregame pretty hard.
No, I was hoping.
I saw him outside staring at the neon bail bond sign. Quite a while.
I gotta say, fuck Mikey Slyman really quick. We had a podcast together that we were supposed to start doing.
Man.
And then Trez swooped you.
What happened?
No, this is open. You can come and do. I'm doing Trez's show. I'm a guest on Trez's show.
You're
right?
the co-host.
I'm the co-host. This is Trez's horse.
You're supposed to be my co-host too.
The invitation's open. Book it.
That's Mikey's name. Mikey, everybody's co-host Slyman.
Yeah, I thought it
over
was
here.
Mikey the Slyman.
It used to be Mikey Too Soon Slyman, but I had to tone that down.
Too soon, Slyman. That'll
Now
work.
it's Mikey Me Too Slyman.
Yeah. Everybody's on that Me Too right now.
But I have to say, of all the local comics here in Vegas, I run into Tom the most, I would say. I run into Tom
out
in
here.
L.A.
That's
out
good,
here. I
dude.
run
Oh,
into
yeah,
Tom
definitely.
everywhere.
No, I'm just playing. I got mad love for you, dude. You came in and recorded my set at the LA Comedy Club, and I fucking appreciate the fuck out of you. So,
Came out dope, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Thank
quality,
you.
for sure.
So
Real
thank
quick, what do you do tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Me?
Yeah, Mikey.
Working.
Working?
Yeah, it's my first day back to work tomorrow in like 3 weeks.
What about afternoon or night? At night, what are you doing
I
at
don't
night?
know. What's the plan? What are we doing tomorrow, it sounds like?
Okay, I was gonna say I'm doing backstop tomorrow, so
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna come out there. I think.
See,
so
I run into Tom everywhere. Still there. Tom's there. Like I swear to God, Tom's like I'll be like, oh shit, like the flyer came out for that LA show. I was like, oh, Tom's on the show. Nice. And it was funny because it said for me it said from Las Vegas, and then you were on the other side of the flyer. I was like, oh, Tom's from Vegas too, though.
Well, I am now.
Yeah.
yeah, officially. Oh, look out, hot blunt over there.
Coming right down now,
Yeah, no, I'm featuring tomorrow, so I actually get some time. So I'm like, fuck.
I gotta make it out. I haven't made it out there. I've never met Manfred Hine.
Oh, you haven't met Manny?
never met him.
Oh,
He's a
Manny.
cool guy.
No, he's a good guy, dude.
Yeah,
He'll
that
probably
show
give you
never-
some time, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get you out there.
But I went there last week, and Skills was headlining. I remain humble, but yeah, I did well.
Good. It's a fun room.
It's a great room.
If the
really
people
fun.
if,
They're very
if-
attentive
if the
and
people
they're-
in Boulder City, if you get that audience that they're there to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get that audience they're like they've been there to drink, and then you're just dealing with
These guys are
chaos.
sitting forward. They're crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
they're
they've-
there for comedy. The
no,
bartender, everyone's all.
Manny and Brad have really cultivated a good following out there.
And it's been going for so long that they're like groomed as a comedy crowd, right?
Exactly.
Like,
No, yeah,
they're
no, that's what I'm
there
saying.
for it, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I've been there
Properly
multiple times.
trained.
I've headline, featured, and open at all three levels. No matter how it's fun.
I had
Crowd,
one-
They're always excited.
I had one awkward moment there. You know, my humor's a little bit, a little layered, little different. You know, kind of in some regards. You're not gonna get your standard straightforward fart and pussy joke. There's kind of like the other day when I was hosting at LA Comedy Club, a lady in the background goes, I did a joke where I made fun of like the education system here in Nevada, and I was like, yeah, out of the nation, I'm like, out of all the states, I go, I think we're like 52 in education, right? and this lady in the back goes, "You're too smart for this crowd," you know. And I was like, "Oh shit, dude." Yeah. And so there's some times where I've had some issues like that, you know, like or a time out of Boulder. But there's another time where a local comic here was working out there quite a bit and helping out Stephen Roberts. And, you know, he's gay and stuff like that. He's, you know, Miss Ferry Roberts is his handle on whatever, or, you know. And so this lady was heckling him. This lady up in the front, like on the little thing. So I'm like, well, fuck this, dude, you know. And she's loud and stuff. So no one addressed her. I went up there and just dropped a bag of hammers on her, you know, spent like almost my whole time. Well, it mortified the crowd. Like, you know what I mean? I guess I kind of like went off on her. I don't remember everything that I said, especially now so far. And so then I was like, oh, all right, let's get into jokes, you know. And I was like, and I was working on some jokes, on some gay jokes, and it didn't go too well because here they am. I look like I'm defending the gay guy. Then I start bashing. Like, I'm not bashing gays, but I had this joke where I used to play this golf ball, and it's called the noodle, and it was called the straight noodle. And I was setting the golf ball down one day, and when I did, it was spelled backwards, and I was like, oh man, if you spell the word straight backwards, it spells faggot. Yeah, and they didn't like that at all. That was like, you know, that's one of those words you just don't say. But that's the only time that I had like a bad time out at whatchamacallit, and I said, because I said the word faggot.
That'll do it.
Nah, I don't know.
For some
That
crowds.
you know, I don't know. I got to watch the tape. Could have been the setup.
Could be the
I got a joke where I said fag and it bombed. And people are like, it seemed like you went a long way to say fag. So I changed it to queer and it went fine. Now I just say queer and no one says a thing.
Interesting.
That's crazy. Yeah, no,
Interesting.
that's the craft. That's the
It's
craft.
also a funnier word too.
That's
So it's-
that's the craft of comedy. Is like you have it in one way in your head. It was funny one way, and then like circumstance or whatever, you tell it a different way. Holy shit, there's a completely different pop, or you don't have the time, so you cut this much out of the. You know what I mean? And you're like, holy shit, like I could be getting to that punch way quicker. Or,
Yeah.
No, it's a fickle thing, and one word can do it.
Yeah.
One word can make that shift, dude.
Yeah. It's adding one little beat, adding something, or just something.
Mm-hmm.
That's the ever shifting amoeba of comedy. It's like it's never exactly the same, but
No, totally.
you always gotta. That's why it blows me away when I see people doing the exact same set every time. I'm like, don't you want to like try to
Oh,
see
100.
if there's anything else there? I mean, I don't know.
No. I'm with you 100%, man. Like, okay, when I was younger, I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play guitar, fucking drums and shit like that. And then I just realized I was like, man, learning this is very repetitive. Very, very repetitive. And I was like, then I started thinking, I was like, man, then you got to write the song, practice the song, record the song, play the song, sound check the song, fucking
God forbid you get a hit that you got to perform for the next 40 years.
Yeah, dude.
you know?
Well, and that's the thing is like, look at Gallagher. Like, how shitty would it be is your very first joke was the only joke that hit, and it was like the only thing that people ever wanted to hear. Even though he's got some smart and heady jokes, and some funny, some thought-provoking stuff, but he's stuck with it. But I was like, dude, I want to do the same thing over. So I always just thought stand-up comedy was like, oh yeah. They're just making it up as they're going.
Right.
It's fresh, and then I realized they say the things a fucking 1,000 times. I can't do that, dude. You know what I mean? I can't. I'm not that guy. My job is bad enough.
I definitely have the autopilot of what I say in certain things, whatever. But I just try not to make the same exact set from open to close. You know what I mean? Like, but if I have a joke, it's like it goes this way. But you gotta, I don't know. I appreciate the guys like Greg Wilson that can just go crowd work and like Rick Ingram. If you ever seen him work, it's all crowd work, and like I'm just not that guy.
No,
Like,
totally.
A George Carlin though, he would cuss at people for breaking out of his thing because his words were exactly where they should be. Like some of his words
he is
very
very,
original.
he is very, very
he
calculated.
had no crowd work at all. And so you don't. It's interesting the variance of what comedy can be. That's the fun of it. Is
Totally. Yeah, no, that's the thing is like I've never really developed a act, if you will, because of that. Like it's always been, and I just figured it'd be like, oh, I got 10 minutes. All right, that's about 10 minutes worth of jokes. Go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like pretty much how I used to try to have a list. I used to try to like, I'm going to have my 15 and then and it never fucking.
I stressed myself out when I did that shit. I used to
totally.
dry heave before I went on stage, just trying to memorize what was coming after this and that. And then you're on stage, you freeze. And then I just realized, make my mind blank. And whatever I start out with, well, now I know where this joke goes. And I can take my jokes and put them in different orders and stuff and segue different ways. So, but there's those people that just have that through thing, and if one thing gets thrown off, then your whole set's fucked. And I just couldn't marry myself to that.
That's the thing is like I would watch guys constantly here in town when I was coming up, and I'd be like, I'd go to the shows and I'd see him, and I'd come, see him like a year later. I'm like, fuck, a year later, he's probably been saying this exact same thing all over, and or even local comics, you'd see guys, and you're like, dude, they're at the mics, they're doing it like you're not trying anything new. And I was like, bro, if that first joke don't hit, that's just a fucking painful 5 to 10 minute, whatever the fuck it is, And I was like, they can't change gears, and they just hold on to that material, like
they try blaming the audience. Then usually, hey guys, this joke is funny. You're supposed to laugh. That's my least favorite thing.
And that's
I
the
see.
worst.
Yeah,
dude.
Guys, it's a comedy club. You're supposed to laugh. It's like it's a comedy show. You're supposed to be funny, dude. Come on.
It's your job to make us laugh.
I will work the whole fucking. I'll work the whole spectrum till I find out where the laughs would be coming. Like it's one of the things like when you're a comic and you're not a host and you're not kicking it off, like trying to figure out the audience. You can, if you're paying attention to the audience, you're like, oh, it's just cuss words they're laughing at, or it's all sex jokes that they actually seem that they're guys are. Then that's where everything's going. You know what I mean? Until it fractions off from there. But
I can usually tell people button up on certain, like, you know, sometimes you do like weed jokes in front, and some people just kind of quiet up. And all right, let me do a kid joke. Oh, now they laugh. You know, it's fun. I love all that stuff. That's why I just want to go on the road more. I love just getting there, and you know, if I did more on the road 30-minute sets, I'd probably have a more formulaic way of approaching it. But
Yeah.
you know, that's the dream.
I don't know if I don't know if I could be like a Ron White who's been getting thrown out of the same bar for the last 30 years. You know, just doing like that one joke that you always don't do, no matter.
Yeah, that's why I mean, like, the magic show at Stratosphere, I feel like that would get old after a while. But for him, like, because it's kind of the same show.
Yeah.
Oh,
Spoiler alert for the people that don't want to see it
Well,
more
yeah.
than once.
Well, it's a show. That's what,
but
you know what I
that's
mean.
where,
Like
I mean,
it's
that's
a
kind of
one
with that
man deal.
music thing. It's like you're locked into that, and that's that monotony of doing the same thing. It's like I couldn't. That
As a comic now, no, good thanks. As a comedian now, you know, with the ever changing, you know, politics and everything that's going on in the world, you know what I mean? It's almost tough to just do an act.
Yeah.
Because you want to like just go off on, you know, what's going on the day. The only thing is, this is one of the things that, you know, as a comedian, or just if you're like a news bug, you just know more shit going on than other people. So it's like you can throw out some great zingers and people don't have a fucking clue on what you're talking about.
Exactly. Like it's like it'll hit in like certain, like with a few people, maybe in one, or like, but it won't hit everywhere because everybody doesn't know about it. It's not like a niche thing.
It's not like the Tonight Show, or you know, when they're going up and they're doing those jokes that's happened that day. You know what I mean? Like, and they got the audience to fucking laugh along to sell that punch or whatnot, even funny or not. It just gives the appearance of, you know, you're on the cuff, you're
The
fucking
applause lights lighting up in the back.
Oh, yeah, this is a totally different beast.
Applause.
Well, yeah, you know, it's just funny. There's certain things you kind of just expect out of like a whole. You know, it's like I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I've seen Star Wars up to a certain point. You know what I mean? Like I get the references, and then when I get into some stuff I don't know, I'm just like, you know, smile and nod. You know what I mean? You get in. It's anything. You get into sports too much. You start talking about something too much. You're gonna lose a lot of people. Like I'll lose everybody with boxing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I'll get into or in conspiracy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And but like with comedy, you know, being in the now, everybody's trying to throw out that everybody on social media. Everybody wants that joke, that pop of the day, that one that everybody's. You know, you can't write another joke about it because that was the zinger. You know what I mean? And like, you know, people have been just murdering fucking Artie Lang's nose. You know what I mean? Like, he murdered that thing, and everybody's just fucking.
Yeah, he did it first, bro. You can't expect like
that's rough.
Dude.
I didn't know that was possible.
Like recoil for.
Dude,
That's
that's
like
like
the-
the first
yeah, he's
fucking clitoris.
Cocaine world champion, bro.
Jesus, dude. The fact that guy's still alive. I was one night at the Comedy Store just talking. And that was a couple years ago, and actually it was a Vegas comic that was in town that hooked him up with coke. Then and he was asking me for coke, and I had weed, and you know I'm not a coke guy, so I was like no. And my buddy look over. He's all of a sudden he's on his phone. He's like, I got this. That was the weekend that he was on Rogan, and Artie's like nodding off on Rogan. I texted my friend. I was like, are you with him right now? He's like, no, this is the only time I'm not. You know, he's like, but we've been partying, and he was like saying how hard he was going. I was like, good God, man! But he had no. It was like, it was sad to hear him talking about how he didn't care to live, and that was 2 to 3 years ago.
Oh,
so, I mean, he's
yeah.
just trying to party himself that limit, and life is just keeping him there. And it's like, all right, motherfucker, we're not gonna let you die, and we're gonna take away your nose. Be ashamed.
Fucking,
we're not gonna let you just pack up and leave.
Yeah, no, dude, he's going out. He's going out. Fucking both guns blazing, dude.
Man.
Both nostrils blazing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Fucking. What was it? What's
How
that
do you not
Bukowski?
look in the mirror and be like, all right, I gotta quit now? Like with a face like that, you're like a goddamn goblin.
It probably just happened overnight. He rolled over and it collapsed on him.
Well, remember he had gotten into a like some kind of scuffle or some shit, and the dude fucking popped him. That's what, unless it fell in, and that was a story. But
Well, it could be both. I mean, if it's brittle,
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I
what
think
I'm
so.
saying.
It looks like a Marsha situation.
exactly for sure.
I was gonna say, remember when he was wearing a bloody bandage. He had a nose, unless it was like a fucking surgery or some
I
shit.
read
dude,
he snorted Oxycontin and there was a shard of glass in it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
How do you fucking party to the point where you're like, oh yeah, snorting Oxycontin sounds like a good idea. Let's chop it up.
Oh,
Hey,
bro,
Artie, there's glass in there.
It's all
Fuck
good.
it.
It's all
Well,
good.
no, it's from the mirror. He said that he is fucking breaking up on it. I guess he
shit.
fucking cracked it and kept fucking going.
That's horrible.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
So
and
just
that's
get another Oxy.
that's the drugs. It probably didn't have it. It probably was like, it's fucking, it's all good.
That's what I'm saying though. Like that's a problem.
Oh yeah, totally, dude. Well, dude, this is
You're
beyond. I mean,
snorting oxy.
Artie Lang, this is beyond the problem.
But
dude,
he had
you know
that
what I
show.
mean?
Did any
Like-
of you guys see that show he had? It was on like DirecTV. It came on late at night, and he had that football player was his co-host, and they had like it was two guys, and they bring a guest on, and they had a kitchen. Did you guys see that show? Any of you guys?
No.
It
I
was
vaguely-
amazing. It was good. It was a good show, and it ran for like maybe a year and a half.
until he fucked it off.
And then he
I'm
fucked
sure.
it off. He
Yeah,
blew,
yeah.
you know, and it was like, oh shit. So everything Howard said about you, you just proved that's probably true. It's like, you know, and he was never able to let that shit go.
Well, you know, he says he's still filming that show Crashing. They're gonna
Right.
start, you know, film. I'm like, bro, are you gonna make it?
Yeah.
Are you gonna fucking make it, dude? But here's one of the things about just life in general, especially comedians. None of us are.
He's great on that show, by the way.
Well, I was gonna say, I'm wondering how they're gonna paint this one up, dude. But
Yeah.
we're not. No one's guaranteed a graceful exit, and there's usually very few graceful exits with stand-up comedians.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This is the fucking slow death for sure. you
Yeah,
know?
dude. You know what I mean? Like it's a crash course. You know, because the shit that makes you who you are on being a stand-up comedian, like people really don't know. You know, not only is it like the fear of people have of getting up in front of people. Now you got to make people laugh. It's amazing to me how like musicians will come up and they'll be like, bro, I can't believe, dude, it's just you up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, we got a band, and like, it doesn't matter if they're paying attention, you know, like
playing
like,
our songs,
We're
yeah.
just fucking doing our thing, and he's like, and I was like, fuck, now you're making me nervous, dude. I thought I was just getting up there having some fun, shit, you know, but.
That's a cool.
That's
you know,
what I love
he's
about
put
comedy.
Some respect on it from a musician. That's
No, totally,
that's a
yeah.
good compliment.
Well, actually, rappers, they used to do this mic. It was called Hip Hop Roots, and then Bobby and a couple other guys were friends up, and they're like, "Yeah, dude, we got stage for comics if you guys want to get up in between while they're setting up shit and whatever." So we went down there, and next thing you know, people are like, "Bro, fucking, that was great." They're like, "So," I'm like, "Dude, you're up here, you're like." You're
Yeah.
fucking killing it on stage, you know what I mean? You're talented and stuff, and I'm talking about jerking off, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking about fucking
Well,
sitting
too,
on
like with
doorknobs
the
and
rapping
shit.
too, like the freestyle battles, those are pretty intense. You know, as far as getting up on stage, and it's just pretty much you. Maybe if you're battling, it's the other guy and some background music that a DJ's playing. You know, and then that's on the fly. Like that always impressed me. You know, as far as looking at people that get up on stage and do shit.
yeah, battle rapping's crazy.
Battle rapping's insane, and then to keep it so like, I mean, they go for the throat. You know, they say some insane shit to each other on stage. And it's
Well,
like,
you know what's crazy though is like I don't know, maybe this is how like I grew up, but I mean there was some of that element in the hip hop that I was around in California, but like when they had like rap battles, like there was actually like science that needed to be dropped in
Yeah.
order for it to be legit. Just
Yeah.
you ripping on somebody was like, oh, we could just do clowning. You know, like, why are we calling that a rap? Like, that dude's actually fucking, like, freestyled and fucking flowed and made a point
Yep.
and dissed at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just, like, fucking
there's a
that hate shit.
There's a battle rapper out here, Interstate Fats. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but he made it to the top level. Like he was on like the BET, whatever their rap battle championships were, or whatever. But he did a battle where he found out that the guy he was battling was a federal informant and ratted on some people.
Oh,
So he
shit.
got like his whole paperwork and then did a whole like rap about that in front of everybody and like called the dude out for being a
yeah.
snitch on stage. And I was like, Oh, Jesus.
And that guy was named Rick Ross.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's.
I'll
where
send you the
just-
link to that, dude. It was nuts. I was like, holy
Yeah, because
shit.
they do research. Like they actually like, I'm gonna go at you personally.
That's what
like,
it
I've
was
done.
like-
They're like their own like one man intelligence organization,
Yes.
just to do like a
No,
battle.
totally,
It's like
dude.
roast battling, too, though.
Yeah.
It's just like it's politicians now, dude. You know what I mean? Like you don't even hear a commercial about the issues. They're like, this motherfucker slept with this bitch, and he used fucking state funds for his tryst with.
to pay her off to shut up.
Yeah. Like fucking they be doing some fucking dirt though, man. But so guys, real quick, man, I just want to get into, everybody's probably like, who the fuck is everybody that they're talking to? I mean, that's the thing. I get comfortable and just go deep. Like I don't really, there's no like barking out any promos, although we are on iTunes. Follow us on iTunes. Yeah, I mean, we'll be putting that shit out. We got our own YouTube, ThinkStopper, that kind of thing. I forget what else is there, but
Podbean.
yeah, Podbean, ThinkStopper.com. So yeah, all that good stuff. Steam it. But Robert, so we're all here in Vegas now, right? Like
Yeah.
everybody's here in living in Vegas. I mean, I'm pretty much a lifer. I've been here 26 years. Mikey's been here for
Ever. Born and raised.
born and raised here. How many years for you, or
It's
not even a year?
Yeah, it's barely a year.
Barely a year.
Yeah,
barely.
barely a
And,
year.
and you said from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Right on. What prompted your move out?
Day job. I still got one of those. I got one of those. So yeah, they got me
Nothing
out
wrong
here.
with that.
And everything was getting more expensive. Like the Bronx, as soon as you see like a Starbucks a couple of stops away from where you live, the rent is about to like go up like
Oh, yeah.
like
The
triple.
gentrification of New York.
It's
Brooklyn's
like,
gone, man.
so I was like, yeah, it's totally gone. Like I've had so many people, like so many friends that like moved out
Yeah.
of there, and like some that were in Jersey moved out of Jersey because even parts of Jersey is just too much. So it's like, okay, I gotta.
Is it just cost of living, or is it like all the above? Traffic, congestion, weather.
Weather, cost of living. Just want to do something new, Like
Yeah.
just stretch my comfort zone.
One of
Go
the
someplace I've never been.
comedians that was living out here just moved back to New York, so we just did like the whole
Oh wow.
exchange. Yeah,
JB.
yeah. JB skedaddled. Yeah. Best of luck. I'm not all about that.
I know him.
Bradsky. He looks exactly like. God, I can't think of his name.
That dude looks like he fucks.
Yeah.
That's,
What's
that's
his-
probably why he went back to New York.
God, he's what the fuck is? I can't think of the name. He's Ed Burns. Ed Burns, the actor. Yeah, he looks just they're like identical.
Your light's on. It's going to drain your battery.
Oh snaps! I'm glad you saw that. But yeah, he boogied on out of here and stuff. So you moved on out. You're here in the comedy scene. How long you been doing stand up, dude?
I did, I guess, about 2.5 years in New York. So no, and then I came from the hated world of improv, which I did for a million years.
Oh yeah.
Performed at UCB, taught at a couple of theaters, did festivals and stuff, and then I was like, okay, there's not much more to do with this.
Yeah,
So-
that's the sad thing about improv, dude. Is it is fun. You catch a lot of they catch a lot of heat. I did improv for a while, because I just thought it would make me a better stand-up comedian, and
Did it?
made me comfortable. You know what I mean? Like being in the pocket,
Doesn't hurt.
you know what I mean? Like having to think in the moment. You know what I mean? And then
It sometimes
then
helps.
finding the game
Yeah.
too.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Finding the game is good for joke writing.
well,
heighten it out.
that's the whole thing. Is just in being a host. Find the game with the vibe that you can fucking keep drumming throughout the room. Sometimes there's a joke. Fucking $2 booty hole gets called out all the time, right?
Yeah.
If he's up early in the night, dude, fucking boom, there's the theme. Boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Something to have fun with the whole night, or you know what I mean? Like so that helped me out with that, but there's nothing. I mean, whose line is it anyways? Like, really, like
I mean,
it.
there's not. I mean, it's really like you get into commercial acting, try and do like whatever pilot seasons in LA or something, or you transition into sketch, because otherwise you're only you're gonna do some festivals and like teach, and that's it, which is fine. But if you want to do something more than that,
My the last teacher I had was for improv was Jason Sudeikis.
oh, okay,
No
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Jason
yeah,
Sudeikis.
that's
Where at?
awesome. He's great.
Here in Vegas, he was a Second City, and they did classes out here.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah, he was a cocksucker too. Fucking yeah. I
Drop that.
I
Quit
get
giving
it.
him props. He's an asshole.
He's a super talented dude, but just didn't vibe with him at all.
Just
But
not the same wavelengths.
no, but whatever. I mean, that's just life, people and stuff. But it was a good deal. But so now you're out here, and what you got next? What's going on from there?
What's going on from there is just work on jokes and work on getting up.
No,
Start,
you're
meeting
not trying to
everybody out
do.
here.
Everybody's does the push to go out to L.A.
I never
Yeah.
if I never fucking go to LA, I will be in heaven. I don't care to ever go there.
Well, there's
It's like-
it's this where it's like there's
I
great.
want to go back
comedy
to
and
New York
stuff, but-
victorious at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, able to go back and like, oh yeah, I'm doing Carolines. Something like that. But I just the things I hear about LA, and I know that's a total ignorant bias because I'm only driven through there. I'm just like, I would never be happy there.
Well, Darrin will give you a good taste of LA over here. Darrin will give you a good little look-see of that.
I've been out there for 4 years or so.
4 years out, and where were you before?
Seattle. I started comedy in Seattle, and I moved down to L.A.
Wow.
And I lived in my car for 2 years out there, and right behind the Dolby Theater on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh yeah.
And now I live in like a loft in Sherman Oaks, and split my time. I'm out here now for probably until about April or so, trying to make some money and do a new scene, get in front of some new people and all that stuff. I figure that's because LA, it gets stagnant if you're not getting on shows and stuff. I mean, the mic scene is just buckets, but and to get on shows is just you can do shows in front of nobody there too, like unless you're at the store or the Laugh Factory, but. I liked it.
There's a lot of little book spots around LA though.
Yeah,
little
absolutely.
gigs,
but a lot of those are
they're hard
rough.
to get. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
not that they're hard to get in, but a lot of them are like almost like ambush comedy. But there's some really fun ones. Like there's one at a record store that's really Cosmic Records is a really fun show.
They got ones at somebody was telling me they have ones at laundromats. Is that a real thing?
San Francisco.
Sometimes, yeah.
San Fernando
Well, in
Valley.
LA they have that kind of stuff. There was an open mic in like a grocery store for a while. There's a but there's like
Backyard
shows
shows.
and like random. The Workaholics House has a show where they do in their
Yeah, I
backyard.
heard about that.
A lot of backyard shows, a lot of outside shows. I've done one in the parking lot of a place that sells chicken in an alley. Like,
Live chickens
my-
that they chop up
no,
for you?
Spicy. Gabe Killian,
Oh.
he was out here for a while. His
Oh,
chicken
okay.
place. They did a comedy
Raging
show there.
Chicken?
and-
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's an interesting scene. I love the Comedy Store. That's the reason I was even there for the first place, was just to be around that place. That's like comedy college.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
Just
sit
to
in
hang on the
back.
front patio and chill and observe
Yeah.
is crazy.
So
Not even to go in.
Yeah.
Just if you sit on that
See the
front patio and
interactions of
just
people. and-
see how people carry themselves and walk
Exactly.
around. It's a whole other world.
You
out
see
there.
every level. You see homeless people. You see the biggest of stars, all
Yeah.
intermingling in one building,
Yeah.
performing on the same stages. And then you sit in the back of the room and you watch headlining comics go up in front of a dwindling audience that's slowly leaving through the night. And you see a guy that's got movie credits and TV credits going in front of 8 people.
Yeah.
That makes you like, holy shit. Like, I really got to appreciate the shows I do. Like, LA, my first week I was out there, really taught me to appreciate the shows better. I went back to Seattle. I didn't write any new material. And people were like, man, you've been writing.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm more confident in my act because I saw what was happening in real comedy. Like,
Yeah.
that to me was real comedy.
And then you go out there too, and you see a lot of like killers, like people that could kill, and, and they're not getting up.
Yeah.
they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're just hanging on the patio. and you're
First
like,
thing I saw at the Comedy
Yeah.
Store, my first night there, I was able to go. It was a Tuesday. They had their turned up Tuesday nights, and it was like their black night, whatever. And like I was in the back green room just seeing how everything's going. And they had their list, and Dion Cole dropped in, and somebody else. And some girl came back there with a walkie. She was like, "Hey, Deanne Cole and so and so is here." Oh, the host, without even thinking, goes, "Bump him and him." It was like emotionless. It was just clear these two spots, but they're on there. I was like, "Oh shit!" L.A. is like it's not about anything. It's clout. If you got a name, like
Oh yeah, totally,
like,
dude.
there were so many. I don't know. There's just something about how it runs and how.
I was there when Larry David did a drop in on the main room, and a couple of like some bigger name people like got bumped, and I was like, damn.
Oh,
I was like, shit, Larry David just showed up. He'd buy the whole place.
Here's one.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't even know it was a thing. Like, I was like, Larry David comes here? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get to see it because I was just on the patio, and the main room was sold out because it always is. But I was like, shit, just
I think I was there that night.
a black fucking, a caravan of like 3 black Suburbans pulled up. It was like, and then like you see Larry David. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's crazy,
Larry
dude.
David?
I was there the night, and this makes me respect because a lot of people. Tony Hinchcliffe is a comic that has been rising considerably, and some people that hear people kind of like shitting on that or like he's not even funny or whatever. I always got to give him his dues.
For sure.
He's doing what he can, but the night I know that he has really put in. He had to follow Seinfeld.
Oh, wow.
The one night Seinfeld dropped into the OR and he didn't want to go up. That room cleared the fuck out, and Tony went up there and he used every trick he learned from the OR and was like, "God damn, this is a craftsman right here. This like what you learn at the OR after all those things to go up in front of now 10 people that are like, where's my check? We saw the end of the show. Seinfeld was here, and then to get to keep them going and and to take that back to any other smaller market and go, that's never going to happen in your market. So does what that creates there, and then I don't know. It's just to me that's just like you see what the.
I heard Seinfeld makes the whole club nervous.
I mean, I don't know. He wasn't welcome there. According to him, his whole act was about how Mitzi didn't welcome him there because she wanted to step on him, and he went up there like reluctantly. Like they had to like twist his arm to go on stage, and he just did like 20 minutes and left. But yeah, I mean, it was a cool thing. And I'm not really a Seinfeld fan to that degree, but it was cool to see him go up there and like actually show respect to the club and be like, listen. I'm not even supposed to be on the stage. No, and
was it just recently after she had passed away?
No, it was before. It was like probably 2 or 3 years ago. Now.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, and Tony had to go up and follow that. It's like, good God, man.
Well, I heard a lot of comics say they're afraid to do their material in front of Seinfeld because he doesn't do anything dirty. He doesn't even cuss really. So I've heard a lot of comedians like they don't want to like offend him. It's like, oh shoot, that's weird.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Really? I wouldn't give 2 fucks.
I
gotta be honest. Other than like, can I get a picture after this? Or you know what I mean? Like,
it's not like he doesn't curse in his regular life or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Well, fuck. Look, what about Cosby? He always tell people not to cuss and be clean. Look at this fucking guy. Like,
I do enough for everybody.
who's got fucking shady, vague memories hanging with, after the coffee and cars fucking deal, right? It's like one little ride with fucking Seinfeld in Manhattan and my ass hurt. Yeah.
That's right. Time just flew right by.
Oh yeah. And Tom.
Yes, sir.
Out from the Bay Area.
Sacramento. Originally from the Bay.
Okay, I was gonna say that's what you said earlier, right? From the Bay Area, or
yeah, because I was born out there.
What part of the Bay were you born?
San Jose.
Okay.
South Bay.
It's a fun place.
Yeah, that's it. Just leave that down, huh? How'd you get started in stand up, dude?
I always liked stand up. I worked at the Punchline in Sacramento as the door guy for like a year. But I wrote jokes since I was like 21. But I never had the balls to go up.
Why
on
not?
Stage. I don't know. I always wanted it to be like perfect, Like it had to be like I don't know. I had this picture in my head, what it was supposed to be like.
Doves and shit.
Doves,
right.
Killing it. People rolling on the floor.
And then I never
kicking the door open.
My
of a
name's
limo.
not on the marquee. I can't go on stage yet.
Right.
What do you?
Right. And so I don't know. I just never did. And then I networked though really well while I was at that club, and then knew a lot of the local comedians. So once one guy who produced shows put me up at Laughs Unlimited, and like I did 5 minutes, and like every joke hit, and I was hooked after that. Just comedy boner.
Yeah, the fucking the needle in the arm, dude.
Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. And then I just like I said, everybody, all the local comedians who produce shows, then were like, "Oh, I heard you doing stand up. Like, you want to be on my show?" So it was like, just rolling.
So you kind of did it backwards. You kind of had all the networking done.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
And then I had like I said, I was writing before, so I had material too. So it was all there. It was just, I don't know. I needed that proper kick in the ass.
Well, yeah, you were in a good spot though too. Up there, that's a good comedy club. Punchline up in Sacramento, and then around there, you know what I mean. Just to dip down into
the Bay's got a great comedy scene. I think it's number 3 after like New York and L.A.
Which it gets a little like a little lefty. Lefty up there.
Yeah, I mean, definitely in San Francisco, you got
Seattle too. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, and Minneapolis. That's where I'm from originally, and I've gone there and they're seeing.
Yeah. Is it really? Both of those places. I'm going there in February.
The younger generation, man. I think that younger generation is just kind of getting to that level where they think that blue is right and it's supposed to be soft, and I have that little bit of conspiracy behind me that everything's blue. That the old leftist blue. It's like a very calming thing. Everyone's so goddamn docile now. It's like they're just lulling everyone to sleep with, I don't know, brainwashing tactics. And
it looks red here. Look at the curtain.
It's a very
fucking
weak.
Russian red over here.
No, Seattle's cool though. I see Seattle as like the Lord of the Flies, where there's not really many actual adult comics there. That's just a lot of young comics kind of.
Well,
running
around.
They're just
and they kind of created a scene where they this is what we say, and a lot of them are good. They're good writers. I caught a lot of shit by saying that didn't have a strong comedy scene. They had a lot of writers, but not a lot of comics. And they got real mad. They did a lot of writing about me.
That's good.
Well, yeah, that's
I like
that's one of the things is I've heard a lot of people bellyache that have dealt with people interrupting shows, heckling, mics cut off, people being told to not say stuff because they're super fucking, that's not their pronouns and what all that. And I'm like, fuck you. You know what I mean?
Clubs?
Like, the whole scene up there. Like everything,
Really?
like yeah. I've heard it all across the board.
I was told at a club not to do I have a Caitlyn Jenner joke, and not even anything great. But the owner, she was like, "Hey, can you please not do that? We have a waitress that's trans, and I don't want them to be offended." It's like,
was that at the Underground?
No, I'm not. I have history of that place too. This is
See, I just know I've heard stories. I've never got to perform up there, so.
It's cool.
I never got to do any comedy up there. I've been up there a few times, but it was just for family shit. So
Tacoma's got a really. I mean, they're still not as soft as the Seattle.
Shout out to Alyssa Yauman and Bobby Higley from Seattle. They she runs a Naked Brunch. It's all just riffing. Like for 5 minutes, you can't do any material.
Oh, that's great.
It's crowd work and riffing. So.
Oh, nice.
And
They
it's
get
at
a
like
good crowd
4
for that?
p.m. on Saturday. Yeah,
They should rotate the crowd if they're going to do that.
There was
'cause you know what I
40
mean?
people in there.
When it's all crowd work, if you have a shitty front row, you know what I mean? And it's like, bring a new
it was
front row
packed.
up, get them in there.
that's when you just got a Tony Clifton the deal and walk around the room like, well, what's going on over here? How's the bank master Choli? Yeah. No, but so. A lot of times, one of the things on the podcast, though, is I like to get into, is conspiracy and stuff. I like to go off the beaten path. The whole idea behind the podcast, and which probably could have got to this a lot quicker, but, is just to talk about stuff that's usually a little bit, uncomfortable to just in a normal discussion. Like I say in the description of the show, this is the conversation that you can have that you can't normally have, you know what I mean? That you can't have with just anybody.
Right.
And one of the things is, I guess I'm just going to, I'm going to use you, Darrin, with the whole flat earth. All right. Now I know you have your take on it. I have mine, on it and stuff like that. But one of the things is, and we've talked about this before, but though it's how other people react to it.
Oh yeah.
How they handle that discussion, which is really, really weird to me.
Yeah.
Just to see how charged people get. And it's almost like it's almost like how the atheist can get the devout like Christian, like with the question, well, where did God come from? You know what I mean? Like, you know, the whole thing, like, it almost gets the whole, like, I know you are, but what am I, kind of repetitive. It can drive somebody insane. It's just really weird, though, to see how, if you bring up something about flat Earth, how they react. And you've dealt with it.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny because Stephen Curry just had a thing where he said about the moon landing, and he caught some shit about that.
Yeah.
And like retract his thing.
And NASA was going to show him.
Yeah,
Like, next time you're in Houston, come see the rocks.
I've had my
that's right.
my thing with the flat Earth and the rocks is crazy because people have there's been documented cases where people have broken open that little triangle of glass that NASA gives that rock in, and it's like petrified wood or something.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
It's like,
It was a
what the
couple
hell?
different countries.
Yeah,
that, like,
and they're like, this is
examined
officially
it.
what you've given us. And I went to San Diego, and there they have the moon rock, and I'm looking at it going, yeah, they could easily be. What the? Why? I'm not a genius and none of that shit. I'm not saying I'm the authority on the topic.
I'm not going to carbon test it.
That's where the drama comes in online, because I find myself asking questions or sharing something where the tone that I'm sharing it in is, hey, I just watched this whole thing, and it sold me on this. If somebody else can watch this as well and explain to me where I'm missing something, that'd be dope. I'd love to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
And within 2 seconds of me sharing it, I'm getting called an idiot. I'm going, well, did you even watch what I'm sharing? Because now what you're doing is you're starting from a place that I've already started from. I learned what we learned in 3rd grade, 4th grade. The points that you're saying of, dude, have you not seen a boat go over the horizon? What about the moon? Are you saying that all pilots are in on it? All those points,
dude,
I've heard
seriously.
and thought all that shit. And the
Yeah.
craziest part about it is I've spent many hours listening to many of different forms of people talking about that topic. I've met with some of these people. I don't know if you how deep into the conspiracy of it you go, if you know who the main flat earthers are online. But there's this one guy named Mark Sargent who's like the #1 flat earther at the Flat Earth conferences, and there's this other guy named David Weiss. I first heard about him through this podcast, Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole, that had like a comedian and a mystic and then conspiracy theorist. And I heard him. I started listening to that podcast. My friend introduced me to it because he goes, "They're talking about conspiracies. They're talking about flat Earth," and I'm like, "That's stupid. I'm not listening. That's fucking dumb. There's no way in hell you can convince me the Earth is flat." Then I started going, "Well, how can someone think that?" So I started listening to him break down how he got to the point where he was even nervously introducing it to his co-host, like, "Hey guys, I finally looked into this, and oh shit, man, I can't. There's a few of these things I can't prove."
Yeah.
So I started like listening, and I've met these people face to face. They still to this day wholeheartedly, earnestly believe. And the craziest part about it is when I asked David Weiss, "Hey man, knowing the Earth is flat, what's it done for you? What's that changed in your life?" He goes, "Well, I've just accepted this as a controlled environment that we can create our own reality." He goes, "And to me, I said, if that's real, I want to be the CFO of my own company and have total control of time and money." He goes, "And look at me." And he has his own podcast network now, Flat Earth Podcast, but he's a CFO of it. He has he's flying wherever he wants. He's doing very well with t-shirt sales. Believe in what he's saying or not, it made it worked in his favor. So I listen to these people and I'm going, well, they seem like they're genuine. They don't seem like they're bullshitting. And then I ask the science side of things, and they get angry as fuck. And they say things like, "Dude, if you haven't taken this class, then you don't know." And they don't break things down for you.
Wait. Who on science side of things with who? The flat earthers?
No, on the pro
with the
globe
globies,
Earth side,
the
the globe heads, the
ra-
globe tards,
the roundies.
the globe tards is what the flat earthers like that one. But
The
no,
globe
so and
tards.
I'll ask these
roundies.
questions, or I'll listen to videos that are debunking, and I listen to both sides of it openly. And it sounds like this other side it sounds like they're the lesser intelligent, the way that they're coming at the topic at hand. And
everything is a logical fallacy response. Oh, it's all appeal twos. Oh, you don't know this.
I've come up
like
with
ad hominem attacks all the time. But that's true for any conspiracy related topic.
The quote that I've come up with in the whole thing is explanation without evidence is religion.
Yeah.
And most people will just explain to you how it happened. They'll explain to you why it happened. Oh, hey, why do we only see one facing of the moon? I can explain it to you. It's called tidal locking, and that means that as the moon is spinning once, the Earth is spinning a full time. So we only see it from this one face, but really it is spinning. Oh yeah, can you show me another example of that anywhere?
Yeah.
Oh, actually it happens on these other planets that we can only see from these man-made telescopes that are sending us computer images through all this distance that we know for sure is not being altered in any way by anything that space might have to offer. It's coming back crystal clear because we can send things back and double check it. Like what the fuck? How are we?
The pictures are from the same people that are
Yeah,
selling us the
dude.
fake moon rocks.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. And that's where it turns into like when people bring up the moon landing now, I just go, how about the moon leaving?
Yeah.
Because if it took us all this shit here on Earth and all these people to get this thing to the moon, we only had 3 guys to get off the moon. And there's a video of them leaving the moon. I don't know if you guys know this or not. There's a video of them leaving the moon. It's the weirdest looking video. And people that are so sold on it will just go, yeah, but I wouldn't know what it looks like on the moon. I don't know what it
Things
looks
are
like.
different in space.
Yeah,
It's
it's
once
just
you're in
like,
space.
Don't
but
you
it
think
looks
there'd
like
be
the
a bunch of
fireworks are coming
fucking-
from the base, not the actual thing, and it just lifts up, and the camera pans with it.
Yeah.
And you go, this is 1972, and it's 244,000 miles away. How did you guys do this when you did not have anything other than analog technology?
Selfie stick.
Like, did you have a string attached to it? Like, what were you guys doing? And all these questions. And, like, even one more recently with the Mars lander, that a guy got all mad at me. Here we go. He shares the Mars lander, the video, the picture, and I'm going, hey, just me asking a question. I'm dumb. Why would NASA leave exposed wires on the top of this thing? Why would they just aesthetically button it all up and make it look nice? Or are they going to send a robot up there to work on it? How are they going to, why would they do that? To me, it just makes it look more sciencey. It makes it look more, you know,
I was
throw an
wondering.
extra antenna here.
yeah, we'll just make it look like
I was
gadgets
wondering-
and whirly things. And
I was just wondering the same thing because when I was looking at that, I was like, maybe if they're able to have any kind of remote control repair,
sure,
it'd be easier access.
but
That's
here's
the
the thing.
only thing.
Can they tell you for sure they're not going to have any kind of space dust storms that's going to knock them shits loose? Like, why wouldn't you want to put some kind of protective covering? Because if you have a robot that can go up there and fix it, I'm sure you have a robot that can take that lid off. Like, I'm sure you can figure that fucking thing out. Like,
No, that's for
it's just
sure.
so
No,
many, there's
I'm
so many
saying,
questions.
They used to have the lid taking off technology in '69,
And then
but
they
then we
destroyed
destroyed
it.
it.
You know,
Jesus
you know,
Christ,
you know, it's
man.
another thing too.
It's
You know, what's the other thing too is
mind-blowing.
that with like NASA, they had the thing, NASA's bubbles. If you've ever watched those, where they're supposed to be like in tanks, making it look like they're floating around and shit like that, and then you can see like a water, like an air bubble go up, like because they're in a tank.
Yeah.
And then they had the other one where it's like the pocket of gravity. They had this thing going, it's all floating, and then it just falls down. He picks it back up, and he's like, "That was a pocket of gravity."
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like right there. Yeah. And yeah, dude. And then the other one was they were showing like it, and like you were saying, to make things more science-y, is they were showing like one of the it was just like a picture of some type of, you know, space station thing or what, you know, whatever, and the guy was full, and they're like, why would they have this, all those, you said the same thing, all those wires all around, and he goes, they're all confusing as shit. He goes, why wouldn't everything just be like color coded right to where like, why are they crisscross and duct taped together and
These irresponsible scientists,
Because
they're just messy as shit.
they're like, how many billions of dollars a year are these guys getting in it? And they're like that would be the person was like, that would be an electrician's nightmare.
Yeah.
Right there. Like these, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It just feels like there's too many, you know, and again, I lean on probably simulation, but like the question I ask with the people that are globe people, it's like, at what point does the water show curvature? Because the things I'm seeing is people can see further mathematically than they should be able to. Why is that a thing? Because we know water finds its level.
Yeah.
So if the Earth is 75% fucking water, and we can see the accepted pictures from space that it curves, well, over this many miles, it should be, and it seems like they don't really have an answer other than refraction, but they're going, no, what it can clearly.
No, but by the and I don't know the numbers, but by the mathematics of it, on a clear day, you should be able to see or you shouldn't be able to see what you see. You know, as far as like guys like zooming into the Montreal Tower across
like
the bay
boats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're only 5 feet off the water. You're like, how are you
And
still?
I gotta be honest, man. From flying from, you know, to Australia, flying across the pond to England, flying up to Seattle and shit, dude. Looking at that plane, man. As far as I can see on both sides of that thing, that fucker's flat, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And everybody, I'm like, dude, that's the optics of it. That's what I'm seeing. That's all I can say. I can't say it is. That's what I'm saying. But my friend posted a meme, and I love this meme. It's like from, it's like DiCaprio from one of these movies where it's the 3-part deal, and it was like, something like, if the Earth's flat, then explain show me the edge or the ice wall or something like that. And he goes, if the Earth's round, explain the curvature, explain water sticking to a spinning sphere, like all the shit like that. And in the last picture, the guy was like, huh.
Yeah. My favorite thing to the water sticking to a sphere, when I go, can you show me an example of that? People go, dude, have you not seen like in zero gravity when they have water and it turns into a ball? Like that's right there. It's like, that's not the same thing at all, man. Like that's not a spinning form that's holding water to the outside. Which I'm not saying is. I'm just saying, can you show me example? Like my biggest stopping point where I go, all right, the flat earthers got my attention. It's two things. It's that we confidently teach kids in school what the center of the earth is made out of. We can confidently, and I go to the observatory in LA, and they got all the planets lined up, and they tell you this one's got a lead magma core, this one's got all these core, and they tell you all this shit. I was looking and going, how could you possibly know that? But our own Earth, we've only dug 8 miles. The deepest ocean is 7 miles. It's 4,000 miles to the center, and they can show you the core, the mantle, outer mantle, the crust. Like, I'm not trying to do big because it's part of my act, but it's one of the things where when I do this in my act, people are just like, and it's like that. The example I use, and it's still the same. It's like showing up to Venice Beach, driving to Burbank, and trying to tell you about New York City. Like, you're not going to believe me.
I thought
but how the fuck can you tell me what's 4,000 miles under when you've only been?
I thought there was mines have gone
miles.
Deeper though. I thought there's mines have gone like 20-some miles.
The
deep
deepest ocean is 7 miles, and the deepest recorded thing, unless I missed it, and that's
is
why
it
I
the
wish.
Mariana Trench?
Yeah. But the Russians were the ones that dug 8 miles. They couldn't get deeper. Their tools kept breaking. Instead of getting it more porous, like they thought it would, as they got deeper, it got more dense. They couldn't penetrate that level.
The hellhole.
That's as far as
that it's covered with it's bolted, right?
I'm not sure, but
covered it. Yeah.
But it's like that. That to me is crazy. Even if we've dug 100 miles. 4,000 miles.
Yeah.
Now you got to tell me what's 2,000 miles deep. Now you got to tell me for sure what's between the 2,000 and 3,000 miles. Like that to me, and they're teaching kids because they can't teach kids wonders. They can't go, we haven't officially learned this, kids. So you might be the first one, because they don't want kids to go, it could be anything. They want to control the thought process in that sense. And the second thing to me, what made me go, if this were a movie where the Earth were flat, what would be happening? In 2 parts. NASA started by Nazis, and it's kind of an interesting thing there. And the UN logo being the flat Earth map. Yeah. Where you go, why would you pick that if they're dumb? If they're the dumb wrong ones, why would you go, hey, well, you're not using that map. Let's use it for our thing. Yeah. Like, what? And then there's the thing where Obama's standing at a lectern with the UN logo. He's, people, we're not here for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. It's like, you got the map. It's like, why would you? And I like the idea that maybe, like, when people go, show the ice wall, it's like, I'm not saying there's an ice wall. Maybe there's just more islands. Maybe there's infinite land. Maybe there's more plains. And what we think is Antarctica is just an island floating out there. So that would be the interesting test, would be to have enough time to go around Antarctica and go north from all points to see if it really is.
Somebody had a great, they were breaking it down, and I wish I paid a little bit more attention, but at the time it was really interesting, where they said the way the navigating is, like, whatever, like, it'll always kind of take you to the same spot. Like, the way the flat Earth or whatever, the way this thing is, like, running, how we're traversing, if we're using stars for our maps and stuff like that, like, it always kind of takes you to the same spot. It's where, like, like, I guess we're just in the toilet bowl, you know what I mean? Like, kind of going around, and it's, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of...
That's where it's interesting. I don't know.
It is very interesting, because just to even have, like, this discussion because of, like, what you see versus just being totally spoon-fed and just taking, because I've always, like... Here's one of the things is, like, I've always had a question about it and stuff like that, and I've always said it doesn't change my life either way. You know what I mean? I can't stop whatever the fuck's happening right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to lower my golf score. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's all. Fucking, you know what I mean? And wouldn't there be backspin? No, sorry. But it's very interesting. again, to have this conversation, like something where people get this crazy about, against would be like vaccines.
Yeah.
If you're to have an opposing view of the traditional mindset of vaccines, people come fucking unhinged. And one of the things, though, I just to kind of to veer back to the whole flat Earth thing, though, and about how people handle it is when you're talking about the moon. Now, one of the things that being into a big conspiracy, I'm a big David Icke guy. I've always been a David Icke. I actually got my shirt. Ike was right. All right, yeah, very proud of my shirt. Love that shit. Anyways, when he talks about the moon, and he turned me on to some books in his lectures and stuff like that. Resourced his books about who built the moon and stuff like that. And it talks about how he talks about how ancients talked about the moon being brought here and it destroying the what is it? What's the dome? Firmament, yeah, destroying that. The moon like punctured that, and that's where the floods and all this craziness comes into and stuff. But he's talking about how you only see the one side of the moon, and scientists are like, yeah, when that thing gets hit, like this is NASA reporting too. Like when that thing gets hit, it rings, it rings like a bell, like it's hollowed out. And he talks about it being a hollowed-out planetoid. And then you hear, like, all this stuff about how ancients talked about how they were going to and from the moon and shit. So, on a post, one of the comedians here was saying, well, if the Earth is flat, wouldn't there just be, like, in, the moon, because wouldn't it be like a sliver of a shadow or something, something like that? And I go, I don't know anything about that, but I go, I find it weird that we only see one side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all I said.
Yeah.
Fucking deluge of just fucking hate. And one of them was a comedian, Alex. And he immediately, and this is, if I remember right, this was his reply. His reply was, oh, Jesus fucking Christ, Trez. He's like, you're one of those flat earth fucking retards. And I was like, I am now. Right? That's your response. I am now, motherfucker. Like, let's see where this goes. Shit. Yeah. And so, just know, what's one thing you don't do to a comedian, dude? Don't show your fucking hand. If I know what fucking pushes them buttons, baby, fucking we're pushing them buttons all night long. You know what I'm saying?
Court reporter style.
Yeah, dude. Seriously, dude. Fucking fucking Morse code on that shit.
Let it be known, this is a guy who thinks it's okay to key people's cars.
Yeah, that was a hilarious.
Dude. Yeah, what a fucking maroon. We'll talk about that here in just a second when we get into the character of things. But totally fucking just. And so, like, when I was like, hey, dude, can you.
It's cognitive dissonance.
Oh.
You know what I mean? People, it's what they know their whole life.
I don't know. I hate to speak out of turn here. I can't speak for everybody because, you can't really broad scope it. But, dude, it's been my experience in life. People who are so-called college educated, there's just a different arrogance.
Yeah.
About anything.
Yeah.
About anything. It doesn't matter. I went, I'm better, fucking
You spend a lot of money.
I'm in debt.
You spend a lot of money to into however many decades to pay off that those freaking loans and everything. Like you've got an urgent need to believe that you use your money wisely. Right. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. So anything that comes out of academia or in that realm, people hold on tight, and I think that's where he comes from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Used terms like, let me educate you, and I said, don't talk to me like that. Like, you're not the person. You're not the authority on this topic. You can break down your opinion on this, and we can go from there. But
we can converse on this all we want.
But don't talk down to me. Listen, man, I don't know who you are, and I never officially. I don't think I've had a formal conversation with him. We've only passed when I was living in LA. I came out here for the World Series of Comedy, and he was on the thing, and he shared a thing then even Because I straight up told him, man. I said, if you talk to me like this in person, I'd punch you in the throat. Like,
Oh, you're the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're threatening me with violence. I said, that's only if you don't think you can talk to me with respect in person. Like, if we met face to face and you had a professional tone like I'm going to have with you, I have no threat of violence towards you whatsoever. But if you started talking with this arrogant, smug tone and talked over me and talked down to me and didn't answer my questions directly, I might have to retaliate in a way because I'm not as wordy as you. Like, that's kind of where the attitude I took from.
No,
we just
totally,
did a show the other day together, and he shared it on Instagram, and I
saw that. Yeah,
I commented on it. I commented on that post. I said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not going here to." Yeah, you're the one that let me know.
I had to shoot it over to him.
Or you're blocked or whatever.
I'm blocked on the Facebook. He blocked me on Facebook because of Flat Earth, and then months later he unblocked me to ask me for stage time in Minnesota because someone must have referred me to him as a Minnesota guy because I was in Minnesota at the time. And I was like, this guy obviously forgot who the fuck I am. Yeah. And then we got another Facebook thing because sure enough, Flat Earth came up. And I'm not defending Flat Earth. When people share
You're willing to have the fucking conversation.
When someone shares a meme that's not attacking a flat earther's actual beliefs, when they're sharing a stupid meme that's like the one where it's like the ball and the light where it shows day and night.
Oh, yeah.
And then the one where it shows the same lamp and a flat earther and it shows day. Well, hold on, man. Flat earthers are saying it's a smaller, closer sun, so you're actually using the wrong argument. You're just bullying someone for no reason. Have you listened to their argument? That's the only place I come from, is if you just want to make fun of someone, then say that, but don't act like you're above this and more educated when you don't know their points. And then, so somehow around it came back to it, reblocked me. But then on Instagram, I wasn't blocked, so I commented on his thing. Hey, man, I'm not going there to antagonize you. You know, I just don't want any issues. I just didn't want to deal with it because I will fucking do something if he's trying to push buttons. Like, that's the kind of guy, like, if you want to be smug about it, man, all right, well, then I'll show you what, you know. And he blocked me again on Instagram, but during the show, we didn't interact. He was watching he came in and watched my set, and I did my Flat Earth material, which I don't have, like, I wasn't, like, taking any digs at him or anything, but, you know, I have my thing where I'm like, you know, people that think the flat Earth is flat, I don't take it too serious or, you know, whatever. And he was watching. He didn't say anything about it, but
I'm glad
I did catch his post about that on Facebook about whatever the situation was. That's funny. I didn't realize that was you.
Didn't because I'm blocked too from him. I can't see anything from Alex.
I'm just not friends with him. I haven't had the pleasure of being blocked.
Smug asshole.
I get along with him in person, but you know,
I don't care to know.
Internet's different sometimes.
No, it brings out the cunt in him. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you know. I guess it does all. I guess I'm a cunty person on the internet, anyways. But whatever. I just not like that. Like, you know, I don't just start barking and yelling at people, dude. Like, whatever. But yeah, he did the same thing with me. I think it like comes at like the end of like a coke bender or something, and like the nerves are shot, and he's just like, internet, you know what I mean? Like so he goes on like one of those things. Because then like after because you know, after that whole thing about the moon, he blocked me, and then he sent me a friend request again. And I told my wife, and she goes, "You ain't gonna fucking accept it, are you?" And I go, "Fuck yeah, I am." I'm like, let's.
Well, we just ran into him at Rebar. Remember, we were at Rebar hanging out, and he came out and said hi to us.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
so, yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so it gets better. It was after the Vegas shooting, you know, and one of the things after the Vegas shooting, I was like, guys, you know, this fucking bullshit. This sucks. This, that, and the other thing. I go, but what concerns me here is probably in the next week or next couple weeks, there's going to be another shooting, and after that, there's going to be another one. We ain't going to hear shit about the Vegas shooting. We need to stay vigilant. We need to be asking. We need to be fucking, you know, be on their fucking ass because they've been caught fucking lying about the whole thing. Right. And him and this other dude, Eric Vegas, just fucking went off on me, dude. Fucking. And in anything that I would post, this dude, this guy Eric Vegas, he was like over there just fucking like just trolling the posts and like talking shit and all sorts of stuff. And one of them, it was like it's something about like he mentioned something about like my kids in it, dude. And I was like, all right, this is like I'm like, here we go, dude. And I just left it because the guy is he's always been nice, but about this he just turned into one of those guys. But Alex went off on me about all this stuff, and he was like, "You and your fucking conspiracies, you're just doing this so you appear to be intellectually smart, like you look so you seem smart when whatever when all stuff, and you're doing this off the for." I go, "No, I'm not, dude." I go, "If you read what the fuck I wrote, this is out of concern that they're gonna bury this thing in fucking lies, and." So then he was like, he was talking mad shit, and also he starts going after my comedy and all sorts of stuff like that. And I was like, hey, dude, look, dude, don't think you're in good standing with everybody. I'm like, you don't know how many times people say they want to fucking punch you in the mouth, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, I could go down at least a half dozen dudes out there that fucking have told me they want to fucking punch Alex in the mouth. And I'm like, oh, bro, I would never even fucking let him get me upset to where I'd want to do that. You know what I mean? But like, I told him that, and then he fucking blocked me, and so then I couldn't go back. I'm like, I would never espouse violence on you, too. I just want to make sure, but my fucking thing. But then after that, we would meet, and he'd just, we would talk and be like, dude, I just can't get into that shit that you're into on the internet. So I'm like, that's fine, dude.
You know,
Like,
comment on it.
you know what I mean?
It's all
Like,
right. You don't have to
fucking
agree
way.
with
like,
everybody.
you know how much
and
shit I just scroll past because I don't fucking.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Lots of
Like,
roads out there. You don't got to take them all.
scrolling.
Yeah, dude. Like,
Jesus Christ.
but that's the thing is like, dude, he's in a sense he feels like he's got to be Captain Save-A-Ho with like every.
Yeah.
The arbiter of everything.
But the problem is there's a lot of people like him out there, and that's where like I just had to bow out of a flat Earth thing the other day because someone made their own little meet where I got tagged into a thing or whatever again, and I get tagged into a lot of these as a flat earther, and I'm like,
get brought
listen,
into it.
man, I'm not the authority on this. And the funniest part is these people were in their Seattle Comics, Tacoma Comics. There's a very prominent YouTubing flat earther that lives in Tacoma that did a 10-mile laser test over water. I'm like, hey, how about you go interview him? I'm not saying it even ironically or mockingly. Interview him. Maybe you'll find something out. Maybe you'll help him realize where he was wrong. But you talk to that guy.
Yeah.
He's the flat earther. Not me. You're just trying to attack someone because what they do is they find a point where you can't answer something, then they just fucking gang up on you.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, man, just because I don't have the answer to that doesn't mean there's not an answer. That isn't what you already think the answer. Because if you ask science, there's a lot of non-answers too, and you don't gang up on them, do you, asshole? Like, Jesus Christ.
Internet fights are the best, man. Because
It's
but we've said this
exhausting.
before. Once they resort to name calling and that you won, like it's
It
over.
No,
happens
totally, yeah.
immediately with the flat Earth topic, though. Immediately,
Oh,
does
it's-
someone call someone a flat Earth or an idiot or some kind of where I go, listen, can we have this conversation where we don't talk down to somebody? And
Yeah.
It never happens, man.
No,
Never.
no. They
You can't.
that's the very first. And like someone goes, "All right, you fucking retard."
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, dude, you lost.
It's
right
funny
there.
though, like if
You
you're
know
a
what I mean?
dude
Like,
that wants
Yeah.
to do something in your life, like if you want to dress like a girl, society has to like accept you.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool, you could use whatever bathroom you want. Just don't talk about the earth being flat.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we'll fucking be nice to you if you want to
Oh,
be,
absolutely.
you
It's
know,
the one
gay,
group of
or
people
if
you
want
can
to do,
bully.
there's all
Like
these
that.
different
That's
things.
a bit right
that
there,
you
son.
have
That's a
to
good
do. And society has to just be like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's all okay. You
Well,
know what I mean?
just
But like,
to-
if you want to talk about flat earth or conspiracies, you're a fucking moron.
the
Well,
I
just
don't
to be
want you around
clear,
my kids.
just to be clear, no legitimate transgender person would be flat Earth. That proves that they're not transgender, right there. It's,
Yeah, people tell
Clearly.
you to kill yourself with flat Earth and they don't get in trouble. It's like, Jesus Christ, do you realize we're in an anti-bullying era?
That's
you
what I mean,
liberal
like,
tards, like
everything's
Jesus, man.
anti-bullying,
You guys are bullying the shit out of
Dude, and
you
then
don't-
they
you watch what I'm watching. Like,
they-
it's like watch the videos and then let's have a conversation. But you're doing
But and those are the
Then they-
people that are attacking you and the
Then
people
they
that are
want your-
bringing that up. It's these same guys that are like posting these like, oh, if you wear a safety pin, it means you're
Yeah.
a safe. You're a person.
Such
that's-
hypocrites,
It's like, what
man.
the fuck is that, dude?
Oh,
That's-
dude, it's
I
the
don't even-
outrage du jour, dude.
Well, it's
know?
it's outrage gasms. Like if you can't actually have a good nut, the closest you're going to get is to be outraged.
Yeah.
So you got to look for reasons to be outraged all the time because
Yeah, you
you're not
don't
having-
don't leave
It's
the
always
house.
something.
Don't leave the house without really properly cleaning the pipes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
clear the
fucking
pipe.
clearing that shit out. You know. But here's a little something, and this is something that I've dealt with, and this goes along with the thing. Is first they ignore you, then they mock you, then they celebrate you or whatnot like that. Again, for years, I've been saying they've been spraying us like bugs. The fucking planes. No, those are contrails. No, those fucking things have been staying in that sky all day long. And after they're done spraying,
yes.
we're overcast. Everybody's sinuses are fucked up.
Yeah.
I go, something's
I saw it
going
in
on.
Seattle and
Da, 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 da.
everything.
oh, you're fucking crazy. Da, da, da. Oh, look at they put it. They're starting to put them in movies now. It's always been like that. And da, 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 da. They went back and put them in older movies, right?
They doctored that shit. It's crazy. And all you got to do is look up and watch for like 5 minutes to see that shit spread out and turn into those fake ass clouds. That's all you got to do.
Well, the thing is you can tell that there's a difference between the condensation trail because it might stay there for just a couple of minutes and it's gone and it kind of fades as it goes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I've seen them both in the same sky at the same time.
Yeah, they're playing
chemtrails.
They're playing fucking tic-tac-toe up there in that fucking sky.
Yeah.
Like
with the
5,
fucking
6 of them.
the big fucking. All right, so we got all that stuff, and I'm telling everybody, they're like, dude, you're crazy. Oh, that it's in the, they're putting it in the movies now. Oh, I saw it on the show. Oh yeah, those are conspiracy theorists. Those are the only people because this is what the indoctrination comes from the TV shows and all stuff. Now, it's the solution.
Yep.
It's the solution to fucking save us from fucking global warming when their fucking scientists are like, hey, guys, we're in global cooling right now. The trends are showing we're going cooler. It's been getting colder, which kind of goes along. Usually what happens after you have a lot of CO2, which they try to say is a bad thing, you have higher crops. You end up having more water. Like, I think we need a little bit more CO2 in the desert to fucking get us some rain out here. You know what I mean? Like, we need some more vegetation. But, now it's the fucking solution. And because it came from, a Harvard and Yale study, right? CIA a year ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I posted a video where the guy from the CIA is like, I think we need to do aerosol injections in the sky. And I was like, guy, this is the dude from the CIA telling you this. And they're like, oh, no, you're a conspiracy. He's telling you exactly just because he didn't call it a chemtrail.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
That
now it's the solution, dude.
When people were talking chemtrails before, I
now
never
it's accepted.
I never took the stance of saying what it was. Like, what you think they're trying to mind control? I'm not saying what they're spraying or why they're spraying, but they are clearly spraying something. There's a video of a plane. He's turning them on and off as he's flying through the sky. There's one that has them still on as they're landing. You're like, you can't deny that they're spraying something. Right. And when they shared the thing, I go, what do you think they're just now going to start testing it? Or do you think they were testing it before? Even if it's a good thing, do you think they were testing it before and they just wanted to keep it quiet? It could be all innocent as fuck, and it could have been something like, we're just trying out the right thing.
It could be for, some people say for like the weather manipulation between HARP, you know what I mean? Because they're saying that there's metal particulates or whatever.
Even if it's like supposedly, even if they're trying it for the best reasons to help us out, maybe they just want to keep quiet because they don't want someone else to stumble on technology and patent it so they can't use it. Maybe it's all innocent as fuck why they are lying or hiding something, but it's like you can't deny that they were. The people that deny that they were, it's like now you're just putting your head in the sand and willfully ignorant.
Well, what's funny too is it's funny too is I haven't seen him do it, but a guy who is he's mildly a comedian here in town. He's I guess it's a hobby to him. But he posted, this is some years back, that one of his buddies who's a skydive instructor was actually tested for barium poisoning. Jesus. Barium is is like one of the number one things that they're fucking spraying up there, aluminum, barium, and like shit like that. And the guy got from all those fucking jumps. And I hit him up about it one time, like months after, and he said he said he hadn't heard anything or whatnot. And then I had never seen any follow-up posts about it and stuff. He kind of doesn't, he doesn't like me right now. He's one of those guys that's kind of like, you get that label. But, hey, whatever.
Right, because he doesn't want to, like, admit that
he was wrong?
Yeah.
Well, no. The reason
he
because I'm like, I'm not, no. He there was no follow-up to that, I guess, on whatever, how that goes. But, no, he because I'm not like a hate Trump guy, I am considered a Trumper. So
I don't know why people wouldn't want to be on Trump's. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. Like, come on, get the fuck out of here. None of this is real. He took a Stone Cold Stunner at WrestleMania. He should be honored for it. No other president has or will ever take a Stone Cold Stunner at WrestleMania ever again. He's just not. Stone Cold's not delivering them. And Trump got to take a stunner at WrestleMania.
Well,
that's
Dwayne
fucking
Johnson
awesome.
is considering running.
Hey, I mean, that might be a thing, but, he was
give him a rock bottom for sure.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I think Trump's going to get a rock bottom after he gets indicted, though, in jail.
I think Trump leads into it. We kind of mentioned the other day, and the outrage and all that stuff. Like, I literally right now feel like we're living in the South Park storyline from Bigger, Longer, Uncut.
Oh, yeah.
And this gets wonky. This gets really wonky. But I don't know. It could be. I'm not saying it's actually what I believe, but it could. If these things fall into place. And I don't know if you heard Joan Rivers talking about Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The comment where they were asking if we're going to have a first gay president. She said, we already do. Barack's gay. Michelle's a tranny.
Yeah.
Not saying Michelle's a tranny.
And then she died right after that.
Yeah, and then she did die after that. Here's the thing. As a pro wrestler, I was a pro wrestler. There was you build, the media is obviously using pro wrestling tactics and how they're, as a wrestler, you send the heel out first to rile up the crowd. Then whoever comes out next is, oh my God, kick his ass, hell yeah. Right now we have Hillary versus Trump was the thing where it was like everyone thought it was going to be Trump put there. So, oh my God, he's so stupid. That's how you get Hillary so evil into power. Then I realized when Trump won, they put her there because Trump was the only one that people would rather vote for him.
Yeah.
Like there was no one else Trump could have literally beaten. So it's literally like a team thing where they threw Trump in there to rile everyone the fuck up. Trump's not doing anything different than what was already put in place.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything wrong. Some of his supporters are saying and doing some wrong stuff. Sure, yeah, people might be a little more proud to be racist because they think that's what Trump is doing or whatever the case. They're assuming all that stuff. He hasn't done or said anything. He said some dumb stuff, sure.
Yeah.
So the next person that comes in is going to get a fucking standing O. In South Park, Terrence and Phillip were saying fucked up shit. Completely saying, but they didn't do anything wrong. The kids were reacting to Terrence and Phillips, and kids were doing things wrong. Then the kids got microchipped, which is a sub thing of what I think might come. Is that people are going to start getting chipped.
Actually, they're starting that.
Yeah, Wisconsin and all these places. But then the parents got outraged, so outraged. They were so proud to hate Terrence and Phillip. Blame Canada. And then they're going to have a public execution. Everyone's so proud to hate. Right now, people are proud to hate Trump. Most people are proud to hate. If you're not anti-Trump, you're pro-Trump. If you're proud to hate, fuck him, high five, I'll piss on his face. If you're not that person, so people are going to have a public execution for Trump, one way or the other. If it's going to be actually executing him or just taking him up politically, if it's maybe it's going to be the election, whatever the case is, the next person that comes in is going to get the standing O. In South Park, when the blood of the innocent hit the ground, the Satan could come up, and the next person that steps in very easily could be the person that sets in motion a lot of our freedoms going away. A lot of the shit where our freedom of speeches are going away because the vulnerable victim, kind of the meek are inheriting the earth in a sense.
That's the push where it's going right now.
They've already been
What's the image of Baphomet? Is a goat-headed dude with tits. So what if the Antichrist was something not natural, something not a naturally born created thing? What if it was a transgender person? Yeah. What if Hillary and Biden both handed the baton and said, we're too old and we can't beat Trump? And because they're turning into a sport. They're turning into a wrestling. We need to beat this guy. Yeah. But you know who could do it. And then Barack is there. And everyone's like, fuck, we love Barack. And he's like, people, I would love to do it. But I've been your president. You know who had my back this whole time? Was Michelle. Yep. And I fully support her, and Biden's fully supporting her, and Hillary's fully supporting her, and everyone's like, holy shit.
And he says, but
wait. Yeah, and HW. And that's the thing, is he's so likable, giving the candy and all this shit, and everyone's loving Michelle.
It's
a
fucking work,
how
baby.
Is Michelle?
It's a work.
Right. Everyone from day one has been saying bloating.
You heard it here first.
How beautiful she is, how sweet. Oh my God, she's the most amazing, most elegant. And then what if Barack said these words? But first, we have to be honest with you guys, and things have changed since we first came into the family. Now times are different. We can tell you, Michelle was not born a woman. Do you think the 30s and unders would shun and go, you fucking lied to us? Or would they go, you're so goddamn brave. We knew you had to wait till now. And you know what? Holy shit, do we win because we get an LGBT black female fucking, oh my God,
dude, how do they
beat
explain
Trump,
their
fuck
kids?
yeah.
How do they explain their
And
kids?
then
Do they come clean about the kids being rented to them?
From their friends in Chicago.
The
theory,
friends
right?
that work in the thing, whatever the
go?
case. But they would have to use all that to say we had to create this facade so you guys believe. They would use all that. Maybe, if that's true. No one would care. No one would give a fuck. They'd go, oh, you guys did the right thing. You adopted. Oh, my God. You're a trans couple. You're so progressive. You adopted daughters. Oh, so sweet of you. Like, it would be the most amazing thing in the world. No one would give a fuck. Their original parents.
Then that would open up about how Obama was in the Down Low Club.
Yeah, but people, before he was president, people were dying because they said they fucked him in college. I don't know if people remember that, but those were the websites I was reading in 2007, man. Like in 2007, there were people that were like, hey, man, I fucked that guy. And then people were like, hey, that guy just died.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Like that one dude in Chicago, he had a whole press conference and everything. He was going to come out with a book or something. And then gone.
And before Obama was even president, there was illustrated children's books about him. No other presidents had that. He was on the same shelf as Big Bird. He's been idolized to this degree where they can do no wrong. And if he said Michelle, and then people go, holy fuck, well, we've loved Michelle. Also, not only...
Sam Tripoli calls him Black Jesus.
Not only would it usher in this era, but in the world of... I think it was one of the Bilderbergs or whatever said, we'll have won when everything they think is right is wrong and everything is wrong is right. In this world of gender confusion, of teaching kids that drag queen things are all right at 6 years old and sexualizing children is okay in this weird world, and that there is no actual genders regardless of your...
on the birth certificate.
Yeah, regardless of your genitalia, there's no genders. How much do you think that would fuck with people? The average middle American, even the most red, that maybe they got this little thing, Michelle's hot. Now, they never once thought that she might be a dude. And now they're like... holy fuck, we've been saying this about a dude the whole time? Oh my, what? It would just head fuck the ones that are too old to accept it. The ones that are too young would be like, oh my God, this is and everything would be...
They're going to go on a journey of discovery.
And that would be when everything went. That's the anti-nature, if that's the case. I'm not trying to be anti-trans in that sense, but if you want to be biblical about it, it's like, isn't that the case when everything is just like the walls are dropped and then...
I think it's too soon. I don't think it's. I think it's too soon to drop that kind of a hammer on the pub. I don't think.
I think by 2020.
I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon.
I don't think so at all.
They may
have a lot of shit happening next year.
Look what's happening
by the time 2020 comes around, it's a different world.
Well, they may try it like A/B testing to throw it out there, and if there's a massive reaction, they'll pull back, and for like 10, 15 years, then they'll slow roll it.
Caitlyn Jenner took the fucking brunt of everything, and now it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Now RuPaul is a public icon. Where she has her own show and shit,
That's
whatever.
fair.
Where before it was like a shunned, oh my God, But now it's like it's celebrated. Where I don't think by 2020 it's too soon. I mean, maybe it is, but
for them to come out and to say that Michelle Obama is a tranny, and
it would have probably come out in her book though if that was the case. Like she just released a book.
Well, I was gonna say like for her to come out and then to like explain to kids, and they gotta. I just think there's too much. I think there's too much invested in the original storyline for them to fucking to pull that.
I think there's enough clout in the hey
Just
man,
because-
but like
if
president,
it
we
goes
had to
that
tell
way,
you
like
guys
you said,
this.
that's all part of it. That's the big unveiling.
Yeah.
Though
Like you said, that
sure.
builds all the points, for the backstory. That's all the credit.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it will, but it's like Jesus, man. That really,
I think for sure she will run, though. I think you're right with that because that's just part of the thing. You write a book before you run.
Yeah, my boy John Oscar swears she's running.
She for sure is gonna run. And she's gonna win. She's gonna beat Trump because that's what people got to beat this guy.
It's a reaction against the reaction that he was.
Even if she doesn't,
That's why she's already emotionalizing
it.
it.
It's a black female.
That's why she's already emotionalized it, saying, "I will never forgive him for what the things that he did or said for Obama or whatnot." But I just don't understand. Like Trump says, he might say some stupid shit, but how come no one's like saying, Obama was talking about how he was really good at killing people.
Yeah, he joked that he was going to send
said-
predator drones to the
Jonas Brothers. Yeah. But he was
Two
like,
words for you, predator drone.
he was like,
the
got
fuck?
2 words, better Trump. But here's the thing. He's like, I'm really good at killing. He goes, I guess I'm really good at killing people, or he goes, I guess I'm really good, or he said something like that. Dude, your drones have killed it has like a 7% success rate.
Yeah.
Like 93% of the fucking deaths weren't your target.
Yeah, but fuck Trump
You know what I mean?
for
Like, what
authorizing
the
gassing of
fuck?
people at a border when they're rushing the gate. They fucking asshole, man. They're gassing kids. It's like,
Pepper
why would
spray.
you
It's
want people to handle that situation?
Yeah.
If you have people running at your fence, you're just going to let everyone in because there's kids at play? That's how you're going to explain. What if there's a terrorist attack? Then how do you explain that?
Well, that's the big thing overseas.
We didn't know
too,
that there weren't Mexicans.
and that's some big things ever since Vietnam was people were guys and kids.
Yeah.
Sending kids in with explosives.
My girlfriend lives in Mexico City. She's Mexican. Her attitude when they were like they're gassing, she goes, everyone knows you send the women and children first as protection.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what they're the front line.
and you're testing, and they also you're testing the the security system.
Yeah.
It's
I like
tactics.
how these protesters, there's all sorts of videos of people, they just want to go home. You know, they just like, we just want to go back to Honduras.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, we just want to go back to Guatemala. Then there's other ones that are like, give us 50,000 and we'll be out of your lives forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
really, dude?
I like,
It's
I like
like
the meme
you got to
that
pay
showed-
us more than what the other guy is paying us.
Well, you know, here's a little something. No, I just want to say this real quick about Trump's wall. The Friday before I got married, last weekend, I went to a Latina strip club, Latin, Mexican strip club, whatever, Chicas Bonitas. I called it Chichis Bonitas for a while, but same thing, right? I was molested, groped, fucking damn near jerked off by 2 Brazilians, a little Salvadorian chick, and like a Mexican chick. And when I say, you know, jerked off to grinding and stuff like that, I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not letting Trump build that wall, dude. He ain't building that wall if that's what's coming over. No, but that's the whole tactic. That whole thing with the wall. Look at everything that they're doing. Everything that they've been doing has been all geared around everything that he's campaigned and talked about. Or they're able to use as dirt during the campaign. They're using it as like anything possible, you know, from the rape and the pussy touching to the fucking immigration to the, you know, I mean, it just goes on down the line. But what's going on here, one of the things that bothers me real quick is the hypocrisy. Like I was saying, Obama's talking about, oh yeah, I'm really good at killing people. Fucking, no one says anything, no one bats an eye, but Trump's like fucking, oh, that place is a shithole, which it is a fucking shithole.
You can say that. That's totally acceptable to say.
Clinton said the
And
words "Make America Great Again," and it wasn't demonized the way that Trump's "Make America Great Again"
Well,
is. It's
all
like,
the
how can they not
politicians,
both mean the same thing?
They've all been saying the same speeches
Yeah.
over and over for 20 years.
Yes.
There's so many times when you could see Clinton and Obama and even George Bush say the same, you know, we're a nation of laws and,
Yeah.
you know, we're going to, ramp up the deportation and all that. They've all said it.
I tapped out when I saw what they're doing.
Trump's
Ron
the only
Paul.
one that's been doing it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, that's because they can do it under Trump. Because if they did it more under the other guys, they'd seem like the assholes. Like, we got to put this bad guy in and do all the shit we want to do that we've been saying we're going to do anyways when the good guys were in. And now this bad guy.
You know, the Clintons had, what was it, the super predators? And you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
You know, you can, like you said, you can't call a place that's a shithole, but you can call a whole group of people, you know, super predators,
Yeah.
and lock them up for life. It's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very weird world that people just want. My favorite thing though is when they went up to like the anti-Trump people and they were reading like Bernie Sanders quotes and then telling them Trump quotes and they were like, fuck.
Yeah, totally.
He's an asshole.
I guess sometimes he might make a good point. Another thing too, like, and not to take a different direction, but the same kind of thing is how angry people got with the Roseanne thing, and how quickly people got angry and didn't want to listen to what she was saying. It's like, oh, she's a racist. She's a seething racist. Like, if you ever watched, I was proud not to watch the show. It's like then you wouldn't have seen that the show was bringing people together and trying to destroy that and trying to show that hey, Muslims aren't bad and a black woman can be a fucking Afghani army U.S. soldier. You missed all that. Then okay, I hear you.
I didn't watch the reboot, but I know it had like something that represented like all of America living in one house.
Yeah, and it was good. The new season.
The only thing that they focused on was the fact that her character was a Trump supporter. That was it.
And that wasn't even a theme through the show, other than sometimes. And Roseanne said on the Rogan thing, she was like, they always would give the anti-Trump joke. She's like, can't you give me a joke or whatever? Like, the writers are very. It's like just because Roseanne is this, all of the other people are very anti. So you can support a show knowing that it's not going to be displaying a pro-Trump ideal.
But in today's America, of course she would be a Trump supporter.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Like that's you know what I mean? Like
everything
what they've
about it
grouped her to
made
be.
so much sense. How the show was put together, and the fact that we didn't get a season 2 with that, the fact that now they got the Connors, it's like it's so like
Well, it
so
promotes the
cheapens
division
everything.
conspiracy.
I mean,
you know what I mean? It
is it-
promotes that they just want to keep us divided.
Yeah,
Is anybody actually watching that show?
they say it's supposedly
Is it
still getting
online
ratings.
anyway?
I think
They only got renewed for one episode though, instead of like a new season, so it's probably gonna be done.
I think it took a shit.
It's got I mean, the first episode got like a lot of people watching because they wanted to see, but like to me,
It
fuck
got
all
great
those people.
reviews, and who doesn't want more John Goodman?
I mean, John Goodman, he was the only
Goodman's a
one that
good-
was like
good dude.
not. He didn't like totally turn his back on Roseanne. Like he was one that was like, listen, I know she's not a racist, but I still feel like they all. And they go, there's hundreds of people that needed jobs. Like, yeah, but it's Hollywood, and they would have gotten jobs again. And yeah, that does suck. But you guys all should have taken a stand to say we're not doing this shit without her.
Yeah.
Because you guys were a family in the sense of you worked together for all these years. She was one of the reasons that the fact that you guys were able to turn your back on her and go, no, that was racist. Even hearing
They
her
turned your back quick.
and it was Darlene,
Sarah Gilbert.
yeah,
Yeah.
But the weirdness was, and the crazy thing with
The
that
View
is
chick?
she has her own fucking show already. She's already got money coming in. So why would she want to turn her back on Roseanne in that sense, knowing that it's fucking everyone else's thing up? But even ignoring Roseanne's explanation of why she said what she said, like on the Rogan podcast, she broke it down and going, I wasn't even talking about that lady's physical appearance. She goes, you think I'm that dumb to go, she's looking like a monkey?
Yeah.
She goes, I was talking about a theory in the movie, the 108 theory, that I love that thing. And she was saying that, and when she broke it, it was like, oh my God, did we miss all? Even if she wasn't saying that, even if she was talking about the looks,
That fucking broad did look like
she
the
looked
fucking
just
chick.
like that.
Fucking A,
and
she
she
did.
was. And when I first
headshot did.
when I first Googled that chick, because I was like, who are they talking about?
Yeah.
I first pulled her picture up, and I was like,
Holy
why are people
shit.
mad about a white chick? Like I thought that she was white. I honestly God, she has the same skin
She
tone
ain't
as my
even
grandma.
black. She's Iranian.
Which her dad was like an eighth black, or however broke down.
Oh,
People broke
fucking
this.
I'm that much
We're all
black.
like an eighth black.
I was gonna say my kids are fucking.
I had this explained to me by
quarter
people
black,
as I'm being told I'm a racist, and I'm going like, what the fuck? But yeah, when you pull the side by side picture, if that was a Tuesday night Comedy Store belly room roast joke, it would have gotten
Yeah.
Coach T would have been playing some shit. Jeff Ross would have been Paul. Wow. So what blows me away is that those people stayed silent. That Jeff Ross and Attell, all those people didn't come out and hit it even harder and say, you know what, fuck it, we're standing up for this.
Yeah.
That's what kind of shocks me is that there wasn't enough people kind of standing up for it. It's like, what is going on where that's the case, where everyone's like, you know what, fuck it, we're just turning our back. Like,
And wasn't it Wanda Sykes that called Trump an orangutan or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like totally called him a fucking orangutan.
people call Sarah Jessica Parker a horse face all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, at what point can you call people certain animals and not other animals? Even if you're black, you can look like a monkey.
Yeah.
We're not saying that you're lowering that you can look like this.
Yes.
It's and then the funniest part was my black friends that like, very anti what I was saying. They're like, and I pulled the picture up. I put a little side by side. Every one of them went, well, all right. You got to give her that one. She looks like it. Like,
Yeah.
not a single one of them was upset about it. They were like,
She looked
okay.
like a fucking munchie.
She looks
looked, you know what I
just
mean?
like that character.
She
It's
look,
like-
and that's the thing. It's like it's not like she doesn't look like it.
Right.
She looks just fucking like it.
It's the weirdest goddamn thing that people were that upset that they weren't listening. They just wanted to be, oh no, Trump.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
it's-
this is a weird world we live in where people's assumption of what you say is more important than what you actually said.
And then
That's
the
a
masses
scary,
just
it's,
jump on
you know,
and roll
it's-
with it.
it's a
Well,
scary
yeah.
thing.
I mean,
fucking love it.
the hairstyle is
Yeah.
pretty similar.
Yeah, like, it's like
Hairstyle is
you
pretty
could do it like
similar,
as
they-
a like and like you said, if another comedian did it as like a
Brr, 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 brr.
like a who wore it better meme or something. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it would hit. It would
Yeah.
be funny. You know, like
But out of context, people took this thing and went, no, this is horrible. This is abhorrent and wrong. It's
she's a Trump supporter. She's racist. Here she
Yeah.
is.
And then they
She said
immediately
it.
pulled the show. There was no fine. There was
Immediately.
no suspension. There was no
no
it was
explanation,
fucking,
no
you were-
chance for her to explain. By the time
It's
she
like
woke up,
immediate.
it was too late. Like that, and she even apologized immediately. And it was by that time it was still too late. It's like if you can tell someone what their intent is, and then not listen to them when they apologize,
Yeah.
and still publicly execute them career wise, what kind of world are we living in?
Well,
That's not a safe world, man. That's other people decide what you meant, and that's not cool.
It's
Well,
gonna
that's
backfire.
will to
that's
will
what's
to
going-
power. That's all it is.
That's what's
it's like
going
that's
on.
why it doesn't matter if someone is sincere in their apology or they made a mistake. Like none of that matters because it's about leveraging their humiliation in public to gain power. That's all it is.
But going back to, even if you don't like Roseanne, you can't support that type of system.
No, you
because it'll come
should.
back to bite you in the ass.
Especially as comics. That's where to me it
That's
blew
what
my
fucking
mind that more
blows
comics
my
weren't
mind about
more
fucking-
open and vocal about that being just wrong. That should have caused a strike to say, you know what, fuck it. We're walking away from our shows now too. Suck a nut.
You know, and that leads up to this guy that was
people
just
wouldn't
on,
do that.
No,
No.
but that's what should happen and that kind of thing to prove that this is you can't just accuse people of something that's not right. He's not a racist.
where was
she's
that-
not a racist.
Where was that article? That
Well, and then
comedian?
I love how they pulled up a picture of her from like it's this Jewish satire thing where she was dressed like
cookies.
Hitler and made the little cookies and shit, and everybody like, see, proof right here, like
And
get
she
the
said,
fuck out of
Oh,
here.
the hanging 8-ball thing. It's like
They got to go after Mel Brooks then.
right.
You know?
Yeah,
Dude, it's the ridiculousness of the sensitivity of people, and that's where like. I don't know. That's where I do feel like we're living in a simulation, and that's where I'm like, man, maybe we have been programmed to be this whole thing, and it is just this programmed like experiment, and we're in a dome. And they just
13th
wanna
we're
the
the
test
small,
us.
13th
we're the
floor,
small
dude.
minority that didn't get the programming right. It didn't
Yeah.
work on us, and we're just like going against the grain. But then you have that comedian in London who that just had to sign that behavior contract.
Yes.
You know, did
that
you
thing
see
is
that?
brilliant. Yeah.
Did you see that, Tom?
Yep.
No,
He read it on stage. Tell
Yeah,
the
he
story.
read it.
Yeah.
Here, I have it pulled up here. He was doing a college, which a lot of comedians frown upon, doing college shows.
Well,
but he had to sign, it says, he had to sign a behavior contract that said he wouldn't joke about racism, sexism, classism, ageism,
I saw that,
homophobia, transphobia, xenophobia, Islamophobia, anti-religion, whatever. He had all these parameters of what he couldn't say, and it was like, holy shit.
Well, the wall is flat.
Yeah.
Like, what else do you talk about? Like, you can't address anything other
it's
than
like,
what's
because
directly-
this person might be in the crowd.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that person could take a joke.
Those are the people that are happy about it.
Well,
It's
right.
people that are upset with their own life that want to stand up for someone else to look at their problems instead of their own problems.
Yeah,
The
and
scapegoat
it's like
mentality.
you can't punish 200 people because one person didn't get the joke or was offended. They're just offended they're an offended person. They're going to go be offended everywhere.
Well, they're looking, and they'll read into anything. Like he could have done a joke on, I don't know, like silverware, and
Yeah.
someone would have been like, I know what he really means by silverware, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love how they're changing everything. This means
silverware.
this.
Someone who
So
can't
did he-
afford
did he do the
silverware, you
show?
elitist.
I don't think he did the show. I don't think he did it.
Like, fuck
Yeah, no,
this.
he read the whole disclosure, and then he said, okay, so I'm gonna abide by this, and then he said his name, and then he said good night.
Oh, is that what he
Yeah.
did? Oh, man.
Genius.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
fuck you, pay me.
Yeah.
You just took you're just like
Was he contracted for minutes or what? You could just do that?
I don't know.
Uh,
he should have done a Bill Burr.
Who knows what the
Just
repercussions
ranted.
are? I don't
Just
know.
done a rant.
But no, that whole thing, the whole PC, like I said, they're changing the language. They're doing all sorts of shit, And like you said, it is gonna come back. It is gonna bite you in the ass, because eventually, whatever it is that you're talking about is gonna be the unpopular
Yeah.
fucking speech.
when one person's a
You
little bit
know.
offended, now you're going down. You're going, why aren't you standing up for me? Well, motherfucker, it's got too slippery of a slope. Like,
Yeah.
this is-
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is that's why no one stood up for her because everything is so stacked against people. Especially, you have to look at it like this way, like with the tech giants and all that stuff in Hollywood, all these people were very invested in fucking Hillary, and then she lost, and now there's the big backlash coming through. They're censoring, they're attacking, they're doxing people, they're doing all sorts of crazy shit, and the risk versus the reward, it's just like I'm just gonna wait. I'm just wait for this to blow over, then I can come out and I'll talk about this. I'm sure you can say you like Trump after he's out of office. I'm sure when he's out of office, you're gonna see, oh, he wasn't that bad.
You remember?
Dude, you were the one that was fucking, wanted his fucking balls, fucking.
It's going to be a bizarre time to look back at in the future, 100 years from now.
Oh, dude,
It's going to be bizarre.
I want to.
Yeah,
I want
for
to
sure.
see.
Living
I want to
in,
see.
like all the fucking shit that's going
And the
on.
turnaround
I want to
is so
see the.
quick.
I want to see the. I want to see Trump giving Michelle Obama some candy.
Right? That's what I was going to say. When Trump's giving Michelle some candy.
When are they going to do that humanizing?
It's going to happen.
But,
Because
and that's the
literally, what
thing.
was W? Like W was, you know, they said he was the new Hitler and all this kind of stuff. Like,
Exactly, dude.
and now
he's just goofy
he's
old
like
uncle.
he goes
Well, see-
golfing with them. They're
Well,
best friends.
this was my
you know.
thing. This was my thing.
And
like,
he was an asshole too, but
you know, I was never, you know, I never really, you know, I was a Ross Perot guy when I was a kid. I wasn't like,
Nice.
you know, I for some reason I just didn't like the old dude, and I didn't like what my sister was into with the Clintons and stuff like that. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like Ross Perot, you know, and then. And I didn't really pay, you know, I didn't pay much attention. I was, you know, Clintons and all that stuff like that. I'm high school, and then out of high school, I'm chasing puss. Then I'm, you know, I'm living on my own, and George Bush gets in office, and everybody's all mad because, you know, Gore should have won. I'm like, oh, whatever, fucking. I just never really liked the Democrats. I don't know why. Just never really did. Didn't like that team.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just didn't, you know.
Didn't jive with it.
Yeah, but I wasn't a Republican. I was, you know, when I registered to vote, I registered independent. 9/11 happens. I'm like fucking George Bush. Yep, dude, fucking go get them, bad guys, all that stuff, right? You know, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. Then, like, second term George Bush, I'm like, fuck this shit, dude. What the fuck? What's up with all these wars? They want to take away our freedoms. You know, the Patriot Act, fucking... the project of a new American century, all shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody is now getting on. Fuck this guy. Like they're exposing the fucking war crimes and all the shit, and it's just getting washed away. And then all of a sudden, Black Jesus, fucking here comes Obama, dude. Obama gets in and starts out bushing Bush. Starts doing more than he does. No one says a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Well, he's
And I'm like, hey
improving his
guys,
job.
he's starting more wars here. Oh, shut up, dude! You're just fucking all mad because fucking
You're racist.
You know,
Yeah.
like, oh no, racist came in after the second term.
Okay.
Racist, the first term was like, oh no, you're just sticking him to fucking George Bush's stuff. Da, 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 da. Just wait till.
Right. Yeah.
And then everybody that I knew that was that wanted to see the change from Obama, by 4 years, they were like, fuck Obama. Everybody else that was like, he's my guy, doubled down, and that's when the racist starts coming out. You're like, dude, I don't really like these policies. I just lost my fucking health insurance from my job because they couldn't afford it because this dude fucking just whacked us.
Yeah.
I go, that happened across all of America with small businesses.
Yeah.
I go, which is the majority of employment in our fucking country.
Right.
And I was like, that fucked me off, and a couple other things, you know. You know, they'll find one isolated incident. You know, I know one person. Oh, well, my meds went down. It's good for me. Like, fuck everybody else, right? Like, we couldn't find like an even, right? But you would be racist if you said anything about it. Now, with fucking Trump in office, when he starts going and unwinding stuff, you're like, hey, I kind of, you know, I don't agree with this, you know, everything, but that's good. That's good. That's saving us money. That's putting jobs back in our country. Oh, you know, fucking Clinton's putting black people in prison for the smallest amount of, you know, whatever, or putting minorities and stuff. Trump unwinds that. Not a fucking peep.
Yeah, nothing.
Not a fucking peep.
He's a
And
racist.
then he just did a thing that's going to keep minorities and people and low-income people, right, money in their, like, what, their 401k or something like that to invest, because there's always, like, a lot of early withdrawals, so this is going to keep money.
That was the
there
thing he was
for
up there with the BET CEO on.
$800 billion dollars and
yeah.
stuff. Fucking peep. You don't hear a fucking thing about that. And it's like, hey, guys, you know what, dude? At the very least, people that were shitting on Obama, they would at least put out there and be like, hey, well, he's did this. He did that.
No,
you
no.
know, like me, I was like, hey, dude, he's really pushing towards legalizing weed. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a... That's the only thing I can really think of. But I'm just saying offhand, you know, it was like people would put it out there. Actually, Obama did do something for small businesses in his second term. And there was something else that I was like, that's good. You know, it's a step in the right direction. But the fact that no one would fucking nail these people down to their fucking evil deeds.
Yeah.
But this guy comes in, and whatever was going on for the last 30 years is now just put on fucking Trump.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I'm not defending the guy, but it was like, dude, if we're gonna go anywhere forward in fixing this, stop this shit right here.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, stop this fucking ridiculousness, because all you're going to do is you're going to champion the fucking next person who's just going to bring it back to the same old shit. Like, the fact that both sides hate this guy should be an indication you don't have a puppet in there.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Or a puppet on the scale that we normally are used to, that puppetry.
He's
you know?
definitely more of a loose cannon. They don't control him quite the same way.
No.
Well, it was funny when like Rage
Why do you
Against
think-
the Machine came out and hated Trump. So I was like, dude, he's literally like raging against the machine.
Yeah.
You know, like
No,
he's,
no,
he's
exactly.
like actually doing what you're about. Like he's
Right.
totally. This is what you wanted. You're ever since the early, late '80s, early when you started putting out your music. This is the guy you should be
is
like
the
backing.
anti-machine
Yeah, like
guy,
he's the
yeah.
fucking. This is him. He's here.
Well,
and now he's here, and you hate him. It's
the
so
esta-
weird to me.
The establishment has co-opted the counterculture. Now the people who think they're the counterculture, they're actually supporting the establishment.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know
That
what
was
I mean?
the whole purpose of Obama. Because I remember in the 90s, like these so-called, black bloc anarchists who morphed into Antifa, they were protesting.
remember Seattle?
Yeah,
Remember
they
put
were
'em up there?
protesting at the WTO. They were anti-globalists. Now they're being paid by billionaire globalists and espousing globalist stuff under the guise
getting
of
on their buses and going to their protests, telling them where to go and where to,
right,
where to catch a tear
right.
gas
They
bomb
were
in
they
the
were
face.
they were completely taken over.
Were you in Seattle for any of those? Seattle's always had the crazy riots.
I was in
Portland,
Seattle,
too.
for the recent, like the Occupy and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff, whatever. But like, it was amazing then how many people were talking about the WTO riots, and they're like, yeah, there were people in police issued boots were breaking the windows first.
Yeah,
and then they came out, there were cops
Yeah.
and starting
Agent,
shit.
agent
Yeah,
provocateurs.
agent provocateurs. And,
Yeah,
they have,
and that
they
was
always-
people up there were like, they were very like when Occupy was happening, they're like, be careful, you guys, like careful, cops in the ranks,
They're
fucking
doing
things
that.
up.
They're doing that in France right now.
That's
have,
where it
like,
started.
they
The
have-
yellow vest.
they
That's
have
where it started, the French
They
Revolution.
have orange bands and shit, and they'll go fucking start some shit, and then they'll just drag
That-
the yellow vesters out like with
that-
12 cops, and they have their orange bands after they just started some shit.
Yeah, agent provocateurs that started in the French Revolution.
Yeah.
So when people were peacefully protesting, the cops would send in their goons, and they'd act like they're protesters, and they immediately start kicking over shit, started riots.
Yeah.
Then that gives the cops an excuse to go in and clear everything out.
Yep, and the cops
you-
got these cool new toys they want to play with.
Well, look at
It's
all
like-
yeah,
these, like
yeah.
you see these attacks on these churches, and they'll put like KKK, and then they
Turns
found
out
out
the
like
owner did
yeah,
it.
it's the owner did it, or it's a black dude, or you know what I mean? It's like, fuck.
I got heat.
Always.
I got heat for
Oh, out
calling
here,
that.
the local
I
thing,
got
that's
I got
right.
heat, and I was like, guys, don't. And nothing happened of it. Nothing happened of it. But dude, I was like, ever since Trump got into office, the reporting of fake crimes, fake assaults have like gone
Hate
up.
crimes.
Yeah, hate crimes have like gone up. And there's a comedian in town, and I'm not gonna put him on blast, but I know this motherfucker did the same thing, because this dude, he tells you the same shit over and over again. Between his health, his achievements, and whatever else his like little third thing is, I forget. But it's always the same. It's brought up in everything. Right after Trump got in office, he's like, I just got called the N-word, at a store, and this guy said, now that our guy's in office, get out of my way. And I was like, that didn't happen. I was like, whatever. And all these people, they liked it or angry faced it and all stuff, and they're just like, yeah, I can't believe we're fucked, man, all stuff like that. I've never heard him say it again. I've never seen him in any argument bring it up or anything. And this is a guy, dude, I'll tell you what, man. He'll
Very
tell you the
vocal.
same fucking thing since
He would've
fucking
held on to it,
2000,
yeah.
since 2007. He'll tell you when he won that contest. He'll tell you. He'll bring it up every fucking time. Anything that's like that's happened, he brings it up. Even to this day, it'll be brought up. But you won't hear that incident. You know what I mean? And I was like, dude, that's how I know. I mean, that's the poker player me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's my read on you. You know what I mean? You're always sharing your cookies. You know what I mean? You're always you're always fucking handing shit out to people.
Yeah, it's a kind of an interesting social experiment to see the reaction. I just watched that video the other day of I don't know how old the video is, but a girl that took off the guy's MAGA hat, and it was,
a couple of years back.
Yeah, it just got reshared, and just to hear the ignorance coming from that side, it's like, to me, it's like when I listen to the Globe Heads versus Flat Earth, it's like, but the Team
girl,
Trump always
she was like, you're supporting genocide.
All the stuff. You guys are supporting more. Yeah, it's like, this is ridiculous.
And
And
she was like, I'm
Dude,
from
it's
Honduras.
I don't even
or
care
whatever.
about your country. I don't care about your laws. I don't care. It's like, no, why would you? I don't know. This
She's
is
like,
all
I
that.
hate this country. Your
Yeah.
stupid laws. Yeah, that
It's
was
like,
crazy. That's a weird video.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
It's like, because that always works. If you try and tell someone that they're a horrible human being and they do, and they, that's going to make them go, "Oh, holy shit, you're right. I'm garbage. I guess I'll just do what you tell me to do."
There was
That's
never
a,
works that
people
way.
are
that's a
looking
way
for
to
a
get
reason
me
to
to
be angry, so
fucking
they're-
see your argument. You
there
know
was
what I
an
mean?
anti-Trump protest here at this building, and he was here in town. Trump was here right before the election.
Right across the street.
And the Latin Chamber of Commerce hosted a lunch for him at the Mexican restaurant right outside the front door here. And they weren't allowed on that side of the street, so they were here on my doorstep. And I was out there, pushing it hard, like trying to see who's gonna. I want to be the viral guy. I want to beat me up. I want to see it. Like let's do this. And I was out there fucking just more poking the bear than really taking sides, but just push. No one did nothing. There was nothing. It was but it was. Have you seen the video?
Of that? No.
Yeah, I did a live Facebook video. I was out there and I was kicking people off my steps. I was like, these are Trump only stairs, man. You got to get off these fucking stairs. And it was like just fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? It got a bunch of views and shit, but it was just like one of those things like, dude, what are you guys doing out here? It's like Wednesday afternoon. You know what I mean? Like Jesus, like you're calling them racist, but the most respected Hispanics in our community, the Latin Chamber of Commerce, there's business owners and wealthy.
Well,
they're hosting him. He's in a, and then they were like,
some of the people that were very pro-Trump are Mexican in Southern California. You talk to
Yes.
people like, listen, I did everything to come here legally, and I've pulled guns on illegal people and called the cops on them. Get them the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
They're fucking things up for us. Like, we want this.
I don't know personally, and I know a good handful, but I don't know personally any legal naturalized citizen here in the States. I don't know one of them that support the migrant caravan movement or the or any illegal immigration.
Right.
for the most
All of
part,
them-
it's a
all of
bunch
them-
of like softies. Like,
Well,
I hate
all of
to
them
say
have
it, but
all
it
of them
is.
have sympathy, for the situation and understand, but they're like, dude, get in line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what the guy we had on our show, our good friend Roberto, Roberto Orozco. He just got his citizen everything finalized. Like got the whole swearing in with the judge and all stuff like that. But he's like, dude, what 3 years it took him to go through the formal process, even though he's been here longer.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people they've gone through that shit, and it's just like it's bullshit that I always tell people like, hey, dude. Why don't you just wait in line a really long time, and right before you're about ready to go in, a group of 20 just fucking slides right in front of you.
Yeah, at the hottest club or the hottest restaurant.
You know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, you got to wait, and then you got to stand out there and wait longer before whatever.
And not only are they sliding, we're going to comp their food and beverage.
That's
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
We're going
are
to
you-
comp
are you
them
gonna-
and give them a VIP table.
Are you gonna be cool with that?
yeah. That's exactly
You know what I
the
mean?
post
Like-
a friend of mine.
And that's the thing too, is that it gets so twisted. Like you get people just like, oh, you're anti-immigration. No,
No one's ever saying that.
we're not saying close the immigration
Right.
down. We're saying just do it the right way.
That's
Well,
what
dude,
blows
and
me
that
away.
was-
People are like, oh, then Trump wouldn't have a wife. It's like, did he bring her here legally? Is she married into the country?
Yeah.
Then what the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
I have a joke. I'm like, I think he won her in a card game, and I go, I think he just flaunts her around in front of Putin, like, dude, look what you fucking, look what you lost or something.
what you
Like, I don't
lost.
know, what'd you say real quick before I
Oh, I was just following up with the same kind of thing. Like a friend of mine who was like, hey, I don't like my apartment. It sucks here. So I'm going to go to Six Flags because it's a lot cooler. And instead of waiting in line and paying a ticket, I'm just going to hop the fence. And also, I'm going to ride the rides for any of you. Do we have a problem, or are you going to call security, or are we cool? I think I just solved the immigration problem. It's like same thing. It's like, well, yeah, why would you? My thing is like, at what point then do we just have a completely open border? And that was what I was asking people online with the caravan thing when they're like, we're gassing kids. Like, how do you want to handle this? Do you completely open border, or
like the way we were doing it wasn't working, in the sense of like, I just don't get what borderless country, and then we have the New World Order kind of thing. Is that what we're going towards?
I mean, that's what the
Like,
goal is.
Yeah, but it's like
obvious.
people aren't verbalizing that they don't even know that that's what they're going towards.
It's fucking it's crippling a lot of European countries right now.
Crippling them.
Flat out, just fucking them straight up and down. Greece, Italy's dealing with it. Sweden, Germany. Merkel's not even supposedly is not even going to run because it's so bad. France right now, they're having their revolution going. I don't say revolution, but their protests. And this is how bad it is. This is now the majority of fucking French people, and all these places too. All these places that are having problems. They've been far left-leaning places. Now with all this turbulence and everything that's going on, they're starting to first some of the places like in Sweden. First time in 100 years, they are voting right. And actually, what's crazy, it's not even right. It's like way left of what we would consider right.
Yeah.
But for them, it's fucking way right because how far left they are. But they're being they're voting other ways, but they're being fucking crippled. Canada, you're hearing it here now. Canada. If it is true from what I read, and I gotta be honest, I'm just going headline and first paragraph here, but from what I saw, Justin Trudeau is giving the immigration controls of Canada over to pretty much final say to the UN.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And he's already talking about bringing in, already bringing in migrants. They're gonna be fucked, bro. And what's gonna be crazy for us, dude? What's gonna be crazy for us is that'd be a way for them to just bring people in and then cause a problem with the border on the top. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
now you're walling us off, and
one of the things that's
Trans is in charge.
well, yeah, but no, I'm saying. Well, this is one of the things though. Down in Mexico, one of the reasons why Mexico isn't just a complete floodgates straight into our country, even though there's a lot of places that it's open like that where they can get in. Is their immigration in Mexico is so strict. You get fucking popped down there, you're doing fucking labor camp, and that's keeping a lot of fucking, they're not bringing in fucking any of these refugee fucking, all the stuff that's been manufactured from the Obama and Bush wars and shit, dude, and the fucking Clinton Syria debacle and fucking all that stuff, but Canada, if that's the case, if they just handed over their immigration to the fucking UN, dunzo. Only thing I can say, invest in the weed company stocks they got over there, because that's gonna do good regardless.
That's your small business. That's your entrepreneurship right there. But that's part of the whole thing in France as well too. The the heads of the military wrote an open letter to Macron. Basically saying, if you sign this UN agreement, it essentially
we're overthrowing the government.
Well, they're basically saying like, we're with the people, we're not with you. If you do this, we consider this an act of treason.
Yeah, that's what it was, treason. Yeah, we're fucking getting you out of there or whatnot.
Right.
That's how bad it is when you have your statists. You have your statists, the people that love the fucking government, they love the fucking socialism and stuff. When they're being taxed so much and bullied so much to their rioting, they're joining the fucking right. And you have the status, you have to where the firemen and the police officers are taking off their helmets and siding with the people in some cases because they're like, it's their families.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's their families, it's their fucking friends, and that's what people don't understand. Like, it doesn't take much, dude. There's a small portion of our military, and it's also our police, but the military was pulled in the 2000s, early 2000s. There was like 4% of our military that said they don't know if they would fucking follow orders to fucking turn on American people. Basically saying, I'm following orders regardless. That's fucking huge. And that's the thing that's the biggest fucking religion is statism, is government. That's ultimately like the big fucking, that's like the big one, because that one covers not only everybody's following, government because the religion says so. the Islam makes their religion their government, so that's a fucking scary deal. And then you have all these. You have the agnostics, and you have the atheists that make science religion and science and the state their religion. They believe academia and all these people and this, that, and the other thing are the only ones that know the right answers. And it's just like, you don't want to believe. Why would you believe, if you don't believe any bullshit from a preacher, then why would you believe shit from a politician?
Or a school system that's being funded by who the fuck knows what.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's been proven to fucking, just to manipulate the data. You know what I mean? And look at a guy that was writing the curriculum for how long? I forget. But he was a domestic terrorist, Bill Ayers. The guy that wrote
University of Chicago, yeah, one of Obama's mentors. Right?
Yeah, wrote the books, wrote his books or whatnot. Fucking, but he was writing the curriculum, dude. You're shaping the narrative, dude.
Yeah.
And it's funny too. Just real quick on a side note, like being a conspiracy theorist, as I get called. If you bring up a YouTube documentary. Oh, I saw it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you know the filtration process to get published? And then for those books to like make it to the shelves in the public libraries, or they'd have to be donated by people to make it to public, certain stuff, for just to go in without the filtration process of what they want fucking you to read. And then how do you know that's a lot of those books have been total bullshit.
Right.
You still have to sort through all that. So it's like, why are you saying that like these YouTube documentaries, even if they're resourced, they're sourced out, exactly where they're going and stuff like that. How is that bullshit? This lecture from this guy that's an actual fucking...
An uncut lecture where he's showing his sites and sources, and he's giving demonstrations. Here's my argument, and people always say shit on this. I learned how to solve the Rubik's Cube in under a minute on YouTube. Is that false information that I watched? They're like, no, that's a real thing. Okay, then how would you say that I couldn't decipher real from fake when I watch these other videos? There's some videos I watch where I'm like, yeah, of course, that I'm going to research a couple searches. I can see, what he said wasn't. But then there's some where I'm like, hey, listen, man, I can't figure this. But how are you saying that? Because it's on YouTube, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And you're not willing to watch it. You're like,
No, exactly.
If you can do something like solve a cube because of a YouTube video or build a house or all that stuff, then you have to accept that there's real stuff on there. And if there's real stuff on there, then information from somebody could be real. You can't automatically neglect it and go, Snopes says. You're like, if you're going to only use one site to debunk, you have to accept that you can be manipulated at one point.
You want to know what's funny? Dude, is Mike Adams. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's the health ranger Mike Adams. He did this fucking amazing research where he broke down like the connection between governments, the tech giants, and the media. And basically the governments and the tech giants use the media and the fact checkers to support their claims. So then they can flood the fucking, and then also with Obama in 2013 getting, I think it's called the something Smoot Act. I could be mistaken. I could be mixing that up with something.
Was it like the Hawley Smoot Act?
Is that them where
I think so.
They with the propaganda,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So now they can flood all sorts of shit with this fake stuff, and then they can go and debunk it themselves. And then, so stuff that I was able to find a long time ago on the net, you can't find anymore.
Right. Oh, man.
You can't find, unless you have that specific URL.
Yeah.
You're not finding it no more.
Yep.
And that's been done on purpose. You
Yep.
know what I mean? It's been done on purpose because you go and you try to research. Like, I think the last thing that they fucked off was if you go and look for the Clinton body count, like, unless you've like searched it before, where it'll kind of have like stuff that'll come up that'll be like there, like auto repair shops pull up. You know what I mean? Like
they like purposely like suppress those searches and like tailor them to prevent you from seeing things.
Even on YouTube, they do that. Because I saw this video the other day. If you search the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk, you have to go down like 15 videos because it's like MSNBC, ABC. It's all their takes on the like Elon Musk smoking weed on a podcast.
Which he does. I don't even think he inhales.
He didn't inhale that shit.
No, he
It was
just
the
mouthed
weakest
it.
hit ever.
No, he just mouthed it. He just
Yeah.
he puffed it like a cigar.
Yeah.
Which is fine,
I mean, it was some of the best memes ever came out of that for sure.
Yeah.
Fucking stock tanked right after that.
That's
But
my
that was
feeling
already
on-
happening.
on
That's another fucking conspiracy.
You think that was
all
an
itself.
insider trader thing? He was like, I'm
And
going to
then
go out there and take this fucking
NASA
stock.
said
buy
they
it
want
all.
to pull some of his funding.
They
for
just did
SpaceX.
that to make space seem real. All those conversations that you see in the media about space are just to make you go, yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff. Like they put those stories. That's I honestly believe that at this point. After seeing in one of those long flat Earth videos how they were like breaking down the timeline of the first Jupiter probe, how long it took for this little tin can thing to get there. And they're like, first off, we're going to ignore the fact that you go through this asteroid belt and navigate this when it wasn't even being controlled. Just luckily had to shoot through this, collect these images, and then come back with these images. And they broke down the timeline of how long it took to get there. It took half the time for it to get back, taking the same route, the same everything, the same belt, because people weren't paying attention. They just wanted the pictures. They were just going, oh, the pictures are back. And they're like, yeah, they weren't. It's like, I just can't believe any of that. So whenever that's a news story, no, they said that they found this. Yeah, it always conveniently happens when someone questions such and such. It always conveniently happens. It would be very easy if you have the budget NASA has to hire writers and to hire people to create fake stories about things and create fake people that seem like whatever. It's like, that to me is more believable than half the shit they tell us at this point, because most of what they tell us doesn't seem like they actually have conclusive evidence.
I always thought it was
like the
weird,
center of the Earth.
the linear travel that these things, it's just one way to get from here to there.
Yeah.
If space is infinite, like we can't just like loop over. You know what I mean? Like we can't just arc over the fucking these asteroid belts that are impossible to get through. Like,
That's what blows me away with the moon leaving.
Yeah.
We can get to the fucking sure, we can get to the moon. But you left that thing on something that landed on the moon. Now, half of that had to break off and then reconnect with something that's been orbiting the moon. And then that thing that's been orbiting the moon has to then propel back to Earth, and it's going to come straight back here. It's like there's a trillion directions they could have gone, and you got it right all 6 or 7 times you did. Every time, not a fail. By the last time, instead of going 3 times around before they had to leave, they were able to do it 1 time around, they said. Right?
Yeah.
How the fuck? And you just connect linearly, just... Was it magnets? You got ropes just pulling it directly to you. There's spaces.
but like you said, they need an entire space station out here. Or, it takes months to prep for it.
Yeah.
To launch a rocket
Right.
into space.
But these 2 guys with 1 guy in this
And then
other
when they
thing.
fail, like the last one that failed and blew up after it took off.
Yeah.
It was like the most minute failure.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like some little piece tore off and it caught the atmosphere.
But this
and
thing
it
that
ripped
has
the fucking rocket to shreds. You're like,
Scotch tape on
shit.
it.
Yeah.
Scotch tape and tinfoil just blasted off the surface of the moon. They didn't necessarily know what the gravity was going to be on that thing because they never been there, and they could only use radio waves or whatever the fuck they had. That's what blows me, is the science that people go, yeah, they must know.
And then they
All
have
those
to
people-
land, and then they had to
all
crash
those
in the
people are
ocean.
lying. Right.
Dude,
the technology only gives us enough to we could
That's
leave,
it.
we could land there.
That just shows you that just shows you like the priesthood, the priest class of like scientists in the white coats. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
It's a
people just say,
religion.
"Oh no, that's what I'm saying." Statism and fucking when you bring up to like an atheist or anybody like science is if you're not careful, you're using science as a religion. They fucking freak out because they think everything's broken down and they don't have to think anymore. I'm like, dude, well, what's the difference between a person saying, "Hey, I read this fucking book and I know a God saying." You know what I mean? Like, it's the exact same fucking thing. You don't know. You're just taking someone's word for it.
That's my 100% why I was starting to look into all the other stuff. And it started breaking down to me that the people that seem to have the absolute answer are part of secret societies. I went to the San Diego Air and Space Museum where I saw the moon rock. They also have the Apollo 9, I think. The lander, the thing that fucking lands in the ocean. Like you said, we had the technology to take off from here and land on the moon, but we got to land in the ocean. And I'm looking at that thing, and I'm just saying from someone that's been on a lot of Hollywood sets, thing looked like a movie prop. They're like, yeah, this thing that fell through the atmosphere. I'm looking at it, I'm like, this thing was in space. Like, this thing is the one that came from space and landed in the water. All right. Like, it really doesn't. 3 guys were in this fucking thing for... Jesus Christ. And then they have a satellite in there that they tried telling you was also in space. I go, how'd you retrieve it? It looks perfect and pristine. It took 5 people that worked at that place to finally one of them was like, no, we built it to go in space, but it never actually went in space. But it is an exact what we would send into space. I'm like, but 5 other people told me that very thing had been in space. That's an issue because now people are creating that realism when you think one thing is the truth. And I'm looking at these things like the lander, the thing that it's like how it just doesn't. I'm pretty sure. Is it DC where they have the lunar lander? I think they have a lunar module. Like I feel like they have the actual one or some shit. Like I feel like I've seen it in one of their space museum type things too. They look like fucking props.
Well, no, I was gonna say there's a video of someone breaking down. They're like, this fucking flimsy ass fucking tinfoil covered fucking
Jiffy
thing.
Pop looking.
Yeah, dude. They're like,
and
this
then it left the
fucking
moon
thing.
and came back. Like that's the one. That's all you have to.
But then you see like, the stuff that falls from space burns up in our atmosphere.
Yeah,
You know,
dude.
it all burns up.
But what you
This
don't understand is like,
diamond.
there's an inverse correlation between how cool the technology looks and how super advanced it is. So the cooler it looks, the lesser the advancement. So these things we have now are like. These are shit compared to 1969 quality tech.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I mean, by virtue of technology, you should be able to run that thing off an iPad.
Yeah,
compared to what they had in the 70s.
But
and
they
the 60s.
destroyed. Like
It's
you
crazy.
said, they said there's a quote where the guy said they destroyed the evidence, and then there's also quotes where they say that the Earth is photoshopped because it has to be, and then you take what Neil deGrasse Tyson says about it being it's an oblate spheroid. All right, how can it be an oblate spheroid but still visually perfectly round? Why would you even tell us that? Because if we're accepting these pictures that you guys are telling us are real from space, which you guys are telling us to accept because that means you went to space, the Earth is not an oblate spheroid. It's a perfectly round ball, as we can all visually measure and see from our own eyes, and a measuring thing. Any picture of Earth, but if you look at the iPhone picture, you can clearly see the stamped out dual cloud, repeated imagery and stuff, and you go, you're telling us all this different shit. Just to keep you like, oh no, it's an oblate spheroid. Oh, that sounds nerdier and neater. Now I can tell my friends. Actually, I tell you what, Earth's not a ball; it's an oblate spheroid. And you sound like
Spheroid.
And Neil deGrasse Tyson's that perfect character that I don't trust for shit. If Hollywood and the CIA are working together, which they are,
For sure.
then how would people not think that a guy like Neil deGrasse Tyson could easily be a CIA shill that's going in there and being
Or
overly
fucking
confident,
Bill
but also
Nye,
nerdy enough
actor.
to where you're confident with what he says? When they ask him in that interview where they go, Earth's an oblate spheroid. And the guy goes, why is that? He goes, because. In this very confident, cocky way where anyone else that's a fan of his that then is telling their friends why it is goes, dude, because.
Yeah.
And they're very, very sure of themselves because. And as Earth was forming, like pizza dough, it got wider in the middle and fatter on the bottom. It's almost pear-shaped. And I'm listening to that going, wait a minute, where's the bottom of space?
Yeah.
How does space have a bottom? Wouldn't it be the sun? Wouldn't it be all pulled to the side then? If it's forming as it's cooling and all this and it's getting gravity, it's pulling it. Isn't
'cause it's
gravity
spinning.
the sun? Isn't that the bottom of what we're on flying through this fucking thing that's just happened to be sideways? Like, how the fuck does space have a bottom? Why would Antarctica? And then also, that trips me out as to why countries like Africa or Australia accept that they're on the bottom of the globe. Like, why would they have to accept that if space isn't up or down?
Yeah.
It's like, the UN. Oh, we're back to using the flat Earth map again. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That thing controls everything. It's like, fuck, it just comes right back around.
Well, there's the Antarctica Treaty too,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Since
And I
what,
think that has-
56 or something like that.
That has something to do with the fact that Antarctica is probably not what we're told it is. And that's, I think, the only way to actually tell people to go find the wall. How the fuck would you, even if you found a wall of ice and you got on top of it and kept going, at what point are you going to run out with resources to continue going and come back? Like just the obscurity. People want to prove the Earth is flat.
There's like a
why don't
map.
you prove the Earth is a ball by doing this, or the other?
Yeah.
There's like an aerial map of Antarctica where it shows like a landmass. It's not fucking. I forget how far back it goes, but it's not even. There's no ice or anything down there. It shows a landmass.
It's like warm.
And I always say, and I guess they've found it a few years back, but there's there's actual land underneath there. Yeah. And I was like, well, how come all the global warming people aren't upset that that got froze over at some point? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how come that's not? They're worried about the ice melting, but it wasn't there to begin with. You know what I mean?
The proof or whatever I think that is a globe would be to go to the island of Antarctica and measure it all the way around it, and then find 4 points, and be able to go directly to them. That's the way you'd prove that. Oh fuck, that thing is in the center of the bottom of something or whatever the case is.
But what it probably is, like the Admiral Byrd, like he says he flew to Antarctica, flew past it, so there's a landmass bigger than the U.S. that's undiscovered. It's probably just an island somewhere else that's just like.
Well, his story's crazy. His story, he actually like went in and met like these beings there, and he went through like this crazy like lost time kind of thing, and they were like kind of giants or some shit like that, and he came back and. He couldn't find his way back or some. It was weird. People are like, "Oh, he was just high on something,"
Man, who the fuck knows? Like what other island? And this could be a thing. Like I think it was Kimmel and Chappelle were joking about flat Earth or whatever. And it, even if it is a ball, we don't know how many islands are on this goddamn thing. Like if we accepted the Earth was a globe, 25,000 miles circumference that you could measure it. Let's say all that stuff wasn't an issue. Well, how the fuck do you know what's in the middle of the Atlantic or Pacific? There could be a giant island in there with who the fuck knows what that could be protected by something that we're just kept secret on, and maybe that one thing gets out every now and then, like, oh, it's an alien, and you're like, what the fuck? What? And it's just terrestrially, it's here, and we think it's coming from space, but it's just, it could be other islands and other land that we're just not told about for sure. Like, the average person is not going to have the resources to check.
No. Well, even pilots, there's always these crazy stories. Pilots have the craziest stories of unexplained things they've seen on the ground and unexplained things they've seen in the air. So I mean, there's definitely weirder things going on than we're.
I want to talk to some pilots, dude. I want to hear some weird shit, dude.
Let's find one.
Fuck yeah, dude. I want to hear some weird shit.
Yeah.
You hear pilots will talk about crabs.
I think that's why they create the chemtrails, so that to keep secrets with the business dealings, what's really going on in the sky.
I've said that too. They're just blocking something out so we can't see the wars on that's happening. There's an
mothership
intergalactic war, and they're like, we got to hide that shit. They're masking something. Yeah,
it's a soft landing
going on up there for sure.
They're creating a soft landing.
That's what that Mark Sargent, the flat Earth dude. That's what he said. If you take night vision goggles and look up at the sky, he's like, you'll see we are not alone. Yeah. He says that confidently. He's like, oh yeah. He goes, do it. You just get yourself some night vision and just look up in the sky. You'll see a lot of shit flying around that you can't see otherwise.
I've seen weird shit with the naked eye sitting in my driveway that I can't explain.
Yeah.
Like just little lights that go all the way from coast to coast, horizon to horizon.
Just moving
in like 2-3 seconds.
It's like, that's not an airplane.
What the fuck is it? And totally just go horizon to horizon. Like, what the fuck
That's a stroke.
Yeah. Is that am I fucking dying?
Yeah, we've seen some shit.
Arm goes
and then, I've seen a lot of shit in the middle of the desert too. And, even
definitely.
John will tell you he's seen some shit out there in the desert.
Oh, yeah.
John's got the perfect place
to
go stare up into the sky.
Yeah, the shitty thing is when I went out there, that was like the whole reason to go out there.
Overcast.
And fucking they just chemtrailed the fucking shit out of the sky and you couldn't see a fucking thing.
Can't see shit, and that's what they do.
Yeah, dude. Couldn't see a fucking thing. It sucked because that's the greatest place out there.
Even if you get a simple app like the flight radar apps that show you the flight patterns of the planes and what's coming in and out of the airports, they're all on the same. They take the same routes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All these planes travel the same way.
In the southern hemisphere, always go to the northern and back down, which on the thing, it's like...
If you look at those apps, you can see it's like almost like a roadmap system, and they do it to keep track of each other so they know where you're at and blah, blah, blah.
It's all autopilot. Pilots don't have any say in where the fuck they're going.
Yeah, and then, you see those planes with the chemtrails on them. They're going a totally different route. Like you said, they're doing tic-tac-toe. They're making grids in the sky. It's definitely weird, and it's definitely not something
at a lower altitude.
Yeah, or a higher altitude, some of them, and it's like crazy. And then if you find one and you track it on the thing, it just goes somewhere and it comes around, and it's doing a grid pattern. I tracked a plane one day. I sent it to John. I tracked a plane one day that was circling over Vegas for like 7 hours.
What?
John never told you about that?
No.
I'll show you. I'll find it. It's on my old phone. But I've asked a couple pilot friends of mine. I'm like, is some guy getting like his night hours in? He's like, no, that's weird. He's like, we would never fucking just circle over, And I was like, well, maybe it's something else. We don't know what the fuck it is. But you can catch those planes on those apps all the time. It's crazy.
The flat Earth community would say that those are the satellite plane type things. That people are like, well, cell phone technology, satellites. But then the flat Earthers are going, hey, man, you can't find a real picture of a satellite anywhere. And I've looked. You can't. Everything's CGI. There's no image of a satellite from a satellite or anything like that. Like, and people are like, well, actually, how would you get the, it's like, aren't they taking it down? Well, I don't know how it works. What the fuck ever. But that's how people are saying the technology. It's all ground-based, fiber optics through the oceans, and then over cities and so like that. There's airplanes that have satellite, what we know satellites like that you put in your house and shit. Like,
Yeah.
and those are like flying over, for communication purposes or something. And then there's balloons and shit. Apparently, there's like a Google balloon system up there or whatever.
Oh,
like,
jeez.
yeah, all this like declassified or all that,
I've heard of back in the day about them running some balloons.
Yeah. And there's a video of a balloon that landed with a satellite-looking thing on it. And it's like in Africa. You can Google, balloon crash, and these people are coming up to it like, what the fuck? And it's like in some trees, like, it looks weird as shit. But it looks like a satellite. What we'd think was a satellite from space, but it's got a giant fucking balloon on it. And it's like,
very strange.
maybe
Fucking Truman Show.
yeah,
Right?
that's kind of what it seemed like. It's like, yeah. And maybe that's the case,
Yeah.
man. Like it does seem like a simulation, like a created type thing. Like it doesn't feel real. Like it's just too much weird shit. Like too much stuff that just happens or like that. It feels like it should happen. Like I don't know. In life, it feels like you should have a hot chick named Carmen Electra. Just like it's just certain shit. It feels like you should have a rich dude that becomes the leader that everyone hates. Like it feels like all this stuff should happen, and it is happening. And it's like,
It's so well scripted.
yeah,
the show
it's
that we're
very well choreographed and scripted.
A
And it's
guy
like,
named
goddamn,
Wiener busted showing his wiener.
That's part of my I put that in my act.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I say I think it's a simulation, and I tag it with that one.
Or this is like a purgatory world where we're all dead,
Yeah.
and we gotta somehow figure our way off of this
That's
plane of existence.
That's the point that I come to a very tough to decide crossroads of when it comes to the brain chip and the inevitable digital world that you can live in and create your own augmented reality of perfection and be whoever the fuck you want to be. The Red Dead world that you could live in and do anything like you just.
That's why I don't fuck with that Oculus shit.
Right,
Like, that
but
shit
enough
scares
people
me.
do.
I'm with
but
you.
enough people
The
do,
what?
and here's the
The
crazy thing.
Oculus Rift.
Yeah, the virtual. That's enough people do to where the point where if you went over to someone's house today and they didn't have a TV, you're like the average person, middle America, and maybe not entertainer else there, but the average person, you don't have a TV. If you don't have a cell phone, how do you have a cell phone?
Yeah.
How do you get through life without a cell phone? The next step, the brain chip, the Oculus and all that stuff is just getting us prepared for the brain chip,
Yeah,
which will
dude.
be the thing that takes away. Because if you listen to generations upon generations, man, back in our day, we used to have a cord on our phone and you have to go around here. Kids are going to be saying, man, back in our day, we used to have this box that you had to look at and everything because everything's going to be all right in front of everyone. And if you're not in that world, if you don't have that, then you're going to be the exiled one. You haven't seen the new season of whatever the fuck because it's right here in front of us. You weirdo, you don't have the chip or you can't go into whatever. Or like I was saying to my friend earlier, when flying cars become a thing, because all that's going to be is autopiloted self-driving cars. They already have goddamn self-driving cars in the streets of Vegas. Trips me the fuck out. You pull up
That's
what I
crazy.
self-driving. Get the fuck out of here. So that's all.
Yeah,
They're
there's
not gonna
always
let you
somebody
in a
behind the
flying
wheel,
car.
though, dude.
They're not going to let you in a flying car without the chip. Like, and people, it's going to become almost like inevitable. Like they said, the mark of the beast. Your purchases and all that shit.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
But here's where the
That's
crossroads
why
is.
don't go to the light.
Is the story of the mark of the beast
Don't come back.
that
Don't
of the
go.
Antichrist, where they put that out there to deceive us, and you're supposed to take that mark because that's what we're working towards as people, to live in the infinite, to live in the eternal light of the digital created, whatever? Or is that the road that you're not supposed to take because now you're stuck to this purgatory-ish realm, and if some kind of natural disaster, a solar flare, some kind of thing happens, you'll never actually die because your consciousness is uploaded to this cloud and your body will just rot as you're laying there going, fuck, my consciousness is in this thing and whatever the fuck, and some guy controls it.
RoboCop.
It could be either direction. It could be where we relive this life till you finally get to the point where you can ascend into the digital world and holy shit, we've made it, I will take the chip. And maybe that's what we're supposed to do. Or you live this life until you decide not to. And if you take the chip, then you can't reincarnate into the next higher thing that the DMT world seems
Well,
like
that
it tells
goes
you there
back to
is.
like how they said that we're the the human race is the
simulation.
aliens.
Yeah.
Like we came here, took out the dinosaurs, and wanted the planet.
Yeah.
And so like that would be like the next step of leaving. But like if we have to leave, if whoever we are that came here, right, to fucking take over this planet, we've got to be close to like just killing it. It's got to be close to dead. Are they going to
What, the
take us with
planet?
them? Yeah.
No way, dude.
No, if it's
Planet
that's
would
I
fuck
Well, I mean, in the long enough
Planet
timeline, not like next couple of weeks, but I mean, in the long enough timeline, if we, the theory is that we came here from somewhere else because
Planet
we
will
fucked up
fucking
where we came
sneeze
from.
and will be gone if it
That's the
wants.
Carlin
You think
Carlin
so?
take on
And,
that.
and that's the thing,
we're
too.
a bad
There's-
case of fleas, he says.
Oh, that's terrible.
Dude, because look
He's
at
like
it,
the
look at it
planet-
like
But
this,
it's
dude.
true.
Look at
plastics can take it out.
how fast nature takes over a place as soon as man's gone. There's like places like rainforest, like they've gone back
in Detroit.
But they've gone to like
forests and
rainforest in
trees
like
growing
4
in this-
years. In 4 years' time, they're like, this is completely clear cut. Now it's like thriving jungle.
Well,
again,
look at like the pictures of Chernobyl. That's an abandoned urban scape that's totally got vegetation growing through the centers of like project buildings and office
and that
spaces
was
and
all
stuff like that.
radiation.
And that's radioactive.
Yeah.
And there was a kid a couple years ago that found he figured out some sequence where where there's pyramids on the planet. And did you guys see that? And he put that into the Google Earth coordinates, and he found like all these like old pyramids that have never been discovered, but they were under so much vegetation and shit. But he was like, "Oh, this is where they are."
Yeah.
And then they were able to like go there and like, "Oh shit, we removed the vegetation."
Yeah,
it's
I
there.
did see that. Yeah.
And it's like amazing. It's like okay, but it was under like 30 feet of shit.
Right.
But it was there because he figured out the fucking.
It was funny is one of my friends was like, "Oh no, that's bullshit." Da 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 da. But he used to like watching those mining shows and stuff, and he's watching one of those ones that are up in Alaska, and they like dug down like they were digging down like 80 feet, and they thought they hit something, and they found like a camp that had been just abandoned and buried over time and just built up. It was like probably like 40 years old.
And then he was a believer.
Yeah, he was like,
He was
holy
like,
shit.
the miners found it. The guys I like.
It was on History Channel. It must be real.
No, you need to. Yeah, you can't just take a stay-at-home dad's word for it, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't
I
just
mean,
take it.
maybe that's part of the big conspiracy, right? Is that we've been here a shitload longer than they say that we have been. Like they've shown.
We definitely have.
They've shown the Sphinx from Egypt to like archaeological experts covering up the top half so that the person doesn't know that it's the Sphinx. They take a look at the photography and they go, yeah, that's those are signs of water erosion. Mm-hmm. The last time Egypt had vegetation like that was way longer than when they say these pyramids were built.
They're finding aluminum tools like miners are digging up when they're digging these holes. They're finding aluminum tools that are dating back thousands of years. And it's like, wait a minute.
Aluminum?
We didn't know how to do aluminum for X amount of years. How could someone else have figured this out? Or how could someone else have even been here?
Yeah.
Not aluminium?
Aluminium dinghies?
That's why, like the multi-level Earth theory that people have gone under, like that there was an intelligence that was on the top. People
The slee stacks, dog. The
Yeah.
fucking lizard people, dude.
Well,
I
it's
think they're
know,
down there.
The fucking
it's
shit to hurry.
It's H.G. Wells' The Time Machine, the Eloy and the Morlocks. He painted it as fiction, but maybe that shit is what's really going on.
No, that's
on,
ancient,
knowledge
like Hopi.
keepers and
That's
stuff,
that's like the Hopi talk about the
Yeah.
serpent people
I think there's
living in
definitely
fucking a tunnel
underground
network.
cities,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, there's that place down in the Grand Canyon, like you can't go. That's a big like cathedral and stuff down there. That's where they fucking live, dude.
Yeah. A lot of that undergroundy type.
Crab people.
That's where I think like the image of the gray is like you could even be like just evolved humans that just intergender, just bred till they just the genderless or not genderless but raceless kind of image. And living underground, there's no sun hitting. They just have gray skin. They're small.
Right.
We were
they're in
remade
caverns,
to
they're smaller. They're
venerate
thinking more. So
the
their brains are
gods.
bigger. Their eyes are bigger and blacker because they need to see in the caverns. And they're just evolved people that come up every now and then to check things out and like. Oh,
Those are
shit.
spacesuits.
Go back down.
dude.
Go back down. It's fucked up there.
Yeah, and then we think like, oh, they came from space, but whatever the fuck. Like, I would say like if let's just take Earth as a globe as it's accepted, and like let's say on this half there was some crazy ass disaster, and then in the jungles of Africa, the only people that survived, and they developed technology on their own because one of us went over and visited them, and they like had stories of something that came from above and whatever, and then they found their way over here. Like they might find some, one book that they think was actual real, and they base the whole history. But
Well, look at what are those people called? The that just killed that guy that was trying to bring them the Bible. What are they called? The
Sentinelese people.
Sentinelese or whatever.
Yeah.
Like imagine what their perspective of the world is.
yeah,
Because they don't know about this. They don't know there's a Las Vegas and a strip and a an economy, and that's got to be that's out of their thought process.
Yeah.
It's not even in there.
Oh,
And so when something different shows up, they just kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, what's their thought process? So we're so like ignorant to think that we know everything.
and that's if someone came here and found like a DVD that had all the answers on it.
Yeah.
how are they gonna have the DVD player?
Well, and that's
How
like
are
we
they gonna
sent
find
that.
the TV that hooks up to it, the right cord or cable? And you go,
We
you
sent
even
that
if you
gold
had 5
disc
of those
into
pieces,
space. That gold disc we sent, it's got like the Beatles on it. And
Yeah.
It's got like pictures of like butterflies.
They're
and
just gonna
shit.
have
You know, and it's like
players.
how do we just expect a whole nother group of things to translate this?
Yeah, that's exactly
gold
like
disc.
It could
Have
happen.
you heard about that?
No.
There's I forgot what it is.
Oh, dude, I'm
Yeah.
so
you
fucking
gotta look it up.
amused by that.
I'll send you. You've heard of that? Have you not heard of that?
We're just gonna send up the Beatles and the Stones.
Yes,
and
that's
all-
exactly what they did. It's like the most obnoxious
To space?
thought process. Yeah, it's out there somewhere floating around for someone to find.
Along with Elon Musk's car he shot to Mars, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Right.
Like
It's-
That was a little blip in the media. That thing came and went. Like they didn't want to fucking
and
talk
Elon's
about
quote of "You can tell it's real because it looks so,
so
fake."
fake, yeah.
You're like that sounds like buyer's remorse, motherfucker.
That sounds
Like
like
you
him
just
out-
paid for something. You're like, God damn it! They just gave me a They didn't even put land on that earth behind the car. Son of a bitch! How does this thing being lit so perfectly? Ah, fuck! We didn't think none of this stuff through.
Yeah, dude.
It's just
Such a
well,
rush.
now the frequency went out. You can't watch it no more. Just ignore about that. It just got.
Oh, you got to get on that gold disc in space, dude. It's hilarious.
Such a confidence game that they try to play. You know, it's such a confidence game on that shit. But I was gonna say we should probably start wrapping her up here.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do a spot
What's it we got?
somewhere.
Oh, nice. We're not keeping you from it, but
Nah, it's all right.
yeah. So shit, dude. Fucking. It was a good talk.
It's called the Voyager Gold Record.
The Voyager.
For all you
Gold.
listeners out there, you guys got to get up on this. And when we wrap up, I'll show it to you. Maybe we'll talk about it on another show.
Yeah,
I want to
dude,
come back
that's
and
a
talk
good
some more conspiracy shit. I mean, there's a lot. Like
There's so much. We only scratched the surface.
Yeah, we didn't even really. Yeah, no,
didn't even
dude,
scratch the
we-
gold
we only
record.
went 8 miles
Not at
deep.
all.
Yeah,
We just couldn't crack through that.
dude, we got as
let's
deep
do
as
it.
Artie
Let's
Lang's
do it.
nose.
Fuck.
Bring it around, baby.
Let's do acid next time.
Yeah.
Tom's really upset that we didn't all
Yeah,
just drop acid. He's like, I was here for the acid.
Yeah, we barely talk conspiracies, and there was zero acid.
We'd have to talk about Sandow's laboratories and
I
Timothy
do
Leary and
appreciate
CIA.
the weed though.
Yeah.
Oh
The
yeah.
blunts were a nice touch.
They're a nice touch. Good. Well, try to be as hospitable. Well, can't wait till we get the bar going.
Yes.
At the wet bar, but yeah, guys, let everybody know where they can find you and all that stuff, and I'll put all this, put it in the notes. Robert?
Hey, man. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What's your social media?
Vanilatino.com.
Okay.
Vanilatino?
There you go.
I like that.
At Darrin Chase, DarrinChase at DarrinChaseComedy.com.
There you go.
Boo bam. Tom.
Tombomb. Tombomb.com.
You get your Instagram back, Tom?
No, I'm just kidding. That's not my.
He's like, I don't want to talk about it.
I don't
wanna
I don't
talk
have
about
that
it.
website handle yet. And no, my Instagram is still deleted.
How'd you get deleted from Instagram?
I post ratchet shit, and people got in their feelings. And
Let's just say you wasn't that crazy.
yeah,
Good.
no,
I thought they were good.
Thank
That's
you.
good.
Thank you. A lot of
Yeah.
people just I made that meme about the thing. People are like, I miss your Instagram.
Dude, it's so fucked. You got.
Censorship,
Dude,
brother.
I
Censorship.
had
Dude, I'm putting up, like, stupid shit.
18,500 posts.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a lot of time.
And
50 followers.
no, I had like 1,300.
Yeah. Damn, that's brutal.
Dude.
If you hashtag bomb comedy, like there's like 450 posts, but you could only see one.
Oh,
Oh.
Yeah, so find me on Facebook, just Tom Bomb, 2 words, just like it sounds. It's not Tomb Bomb. Don't fuck that up. That's
Tomb bomb.
no. Tomb Bomb.
people always put a B after them. It's like no,
Tomb
bitch.
Bomb Pizza.
This ain't Egypt.
This ain't Egypt.
Dude, Tombstone pizza.
Tomb Bomb Pizza.
Fuck, Tomb bomb pizza. Get a little pepper depper going on there.
With some pineapple.
Oh, fuck that, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Pineapple all the way.
Oh, hell no, dude. All right,
Sweet with
dude.
the salty,
That's
bro.
where we draw the line. That's where,
Pepperoni pineapple, man.
Hey,
that's
hey,
the
why
deal.
not?
That's
why
where
are
you
we
get
not
unfriended.
Why are we not putting kiwis on pizza.
It's not a
I've had
sweet.
potatoes on pizza. That was good.
I've had potato on
pizza was
pizza
good.
in Italy.
That's all they do.
It's
Kiwi?
bland.
No, potatoes.
Actually, now you say kiwi, it kind of sounds like maybe. I've seen strawberry
Right?
pizza too.
I haven't.
I don't know, man. Like,
Get a good
yeah.
kiwi.
I'm just fucking with you.
As
guys.
long
Like,
as
I don't
it's
care
not
if you think the
tart.
earth is flat, but fuck you and your pineapple on pizza theory.
It's another acceptable social bullying.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know,
Right.
What?
pineapple on pizza.
Oh,
It's not acceptable.
Does his employer know?
Yeah.
Do they know? What's pineapple in a pizza? Do they know?
Do they
We,
know?
we got to make sure.
Right. That's going to
No.
be a question for interviewers. And do you like pineapple on your pizza?
Yeah.
Choose one. That's what they do. It's a social
That-
experiment.
They're like, they just give you a
have you-
look like, really?
Like
Have
that's
you?
Here's the ultimate head
Are
fuck.
you now, or have you ever been a communist or put pineapple?
That's how you get into the Illuminati. When you go to a job interview, they put 2 pizzas on the table,
Right.
and if you choose the pineapple pizza, you go further.
And they ask you how you feel about the
yeah,
video asking.
fuck that, dude. I'd be like, hell no, dog. I ain't
That's why you're not in the Illuminati.
pineapple
Right.
pizza. I've eaten it before.
That's why you don't
delicious.
live under the underground, bro. Underground
It's
city.
bad. Yeah, I'm not getting the fucking. I'm not getting in the spaceship.
You would have the VIP pass, if you know.
Dude, apparently under the Getty Museum, they have like a whole elegant bunker. Have you guys ever heard about that? Should I put that in the next one? There's a dude that's giving a whole lecture about the building of it, and it costs like billions of dollars, and it's like, yeah, the Getty and Link to the Queen and all this crazy shit.
Oh, shit?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
On the next episode.
Yeah, dude, we'll get into it. All right, guys, I was going to say you can find us at ThinkStopper.com, Podbean.com. Well, it's the same thing. It goes to that page. As I say, we have our Instagram, ThinkStopper, on Instagram. We got, I forget what else.
It's a dope logo, by the way.
Appreciate it. That was put together by Jack Slammy.
Oh, good work, Slamsters.
Yeah, we got some things coming down the line now that you're back.
Yeah.
We'll get into talk about Japan and all that good stuff over there.
Nice.
I want to hear about it, but yeah. Anything from you, Mikey?
No, man, I'm good. Thanks for listening.
All right, guys.
Gooder.
Over and out. Peace.